Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. Scottish Cup 4th round. The 11 3 o'clock kickoffs are just about to get underway. Kilmarnock versus Dundee, Livingston St Mirren, Dundee United versus Ayr United, Ross County versus Motherwell, Partick versus Montrose. We've got reporters at all of them. We also have Airdrieonians take on Arbroath, Camelin Juniors against Elgin City, Kelty Hearts up against Cove Rangers, Spartans take on Inverness Cally Thistle, and Stenhousemuir take on Greenock Morton. And we will bring you all the action on Open All Might.
On your radio,
online at BBC Sports Scotland,
your smart speaker,
and BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.
Yes, we're just kicking off all around the country. Scottish Cup 4th round. We've already had one big shock of the day at East End Park. Dunfermline beating Hibernian by 1-0. Tom, I wonder, you maybe highlighted a few earlier on, but if you were to pick one out the 3 o'clock kickoffs that you might fancy another Scottish Cup shock, who are you looking for?
I'm looking at Ayr United. I know Tony doesn't agree with me, but I think they have it within them to go to Dundee United and cause a shock. We've already seen a shock in the first game, Championship beating Premiership. We could have another one there. I mean, it's an outside bet, but that's the one I'm looking at.
Well, I'm Preston. You'll be watching that at Tannadice. What do you think? Could that be another potential shock today?
It could certainly be, but I just fancy Dundee United. I think that, the manager Jim Goodwin will want to try and stay in this competition as long as possible. It then helps their league form as well. Ayr United are a decent side. Scott Brown's done well since he's gone there, but I honestly don't see a shock. But I'm sitting listening to everyone going on about Stevie Robinson having a go at the players. I'm at Tannadice here where I spent 7 years. We won games and got slaughtered. That's the truth. I'm telling you now, we would win games by 3 or 4 and the manager would come out and have a go at you. That's football. That's the nature of the game. So what? Diddums. You're a professional football player. Manager has a go at you for not performing. Nothing wrong with that.
Players maybe a bit different now. Biscuits.
Yeah, that was what was that? 50 years ago. Biscuits you're talking about?
Not as long as that, Tom. But football hasn't changed that much, where you're not allowed to have a go at your players.
I agree with that, Biscuits. I think you're right, and I think there's various things we've been on about it quite a bit. It's whatever strategy a manager wants to take, and there's nobody, as I said at the start of it, more experienced and more successful than Stephen Robinson, and he decided to take that course of action. And listen to his interview today. He's bubbly, like Chick said, and he's got them very much up for this game as well. So it's just whatever strategy you adopt to get the best out of your players, and make sure what he's done there is he's set real standards, and obviously his players fell below those standards, and it's important to remind them of that and get those standards up to what's expected.
Do you think he felt bad, Tony? I think he felt bad, like he said?
I think he did, yeah. I've done it myself. You go away and you reflect, and sometimes you think, and you can't wait to go back in the next morning to speak with the players, not apologise, but just to speak with them and just reason with them. And as I think it was Rory said earlier on, if you've got that relationship with the players that you build up, then it's important that you address it as quickly as you can and make sure everybody's on the same page, because it is all about standards, setting standards, maintaining standards, and that for me is what Stephen Robinson is all about.
Look, I think it's a drop-off, the drop-off for winning the Cup to where I watched them midweek against Hearts. I thought they were really poor.
I heard you, yeah.
I thought they were beaten by 10 men 15 minutes into the game. Hearts got a man sent off, and I thought St Mirren just created absolutely nothing. It was too pedestrian, far too slow. Should have played at a pace of the game with an extra man, but they didn't do that, and they're going to have to do that, because I think now, if Livingston can win the day, and it is a big if because they've not won in such a long time, if they can, that might just give them the confidence, and it might even dent even more confidence. Well, not that there's a lot at St Mirren at the moment, but it might dent their chances. Obviously they play again midweek.
I think with St Mirren that Stephen Robinson knows they're better than this. Like if he thought that his players were not good enough, I don't think he'd be flogging them in the way he has. He just knows there's more in them, because they've won the League Cup. They've beaten Celtic. They've reached a pretty high level, and he knows they're way below that level now.
Yeah, and that's a frustrating bit about professional sport. It's all about on the day, and they obviously fell below the standards that have been set, and it's, as the manager, you've got to make sure that they meet the demands, and whatever strategy you adopt to do that, you do it, and he's obviously done that, and the proof will be in the pudding today to see what reaction he gets from his players.
And David Martindale slipping into the conversation there that he's spending six figures on a player.
Yeah.
That's kind of
unheard of, as he said.
It was an undisclosed figure, but it was 6 figures.
So what are we saying from that? 100 grand? Just about the six figures,
Only
maybe
David
more.
Probably not
Well,
the 900 grand.
Well, listen, we got wind in here a few weeks ago that they were about to go big on a player. That David Martindale had latitude in his budget to go big on a player. Maybe this is the player, maybe there's another one coming in the door. But then what we'd heard was wages, weekly wages, rather than a transfer fee.
Yeah, and how big do you go when you're in Livingston's situation, knowing that relegation is a distinct possibility? You're probably not going to throw a lot of money at it, Tony, because you don't want big wage bill going down into the Championship.
If it keeps you in the division, that can,
a big ask,
balance
isn't
that
it,
out. But I listened to the interview last week. I was really impressed with the chairman at
Calvin
Livingston.
Ford.
Yeah, really
Calvin Ford was Mr. Livingston on this programme last week.
Yeah.
His enthusiasm jumped out of the radio.
Yeah.
And that was not a guy sounding like he's going to be accepting of relegation.
Goal!
Right, who's that? Is that you, Chick?
Yeah, and for all your woes and about St Mirren, they've just gone ahead. They don't with a simple finish inside the 6-yard box. Kate overlap down the right hand side, and it was O'Donnell with just a touch into the net. Simple finish for him, and St Mirren ahead. Had a chance before that, actually. Phillips with a real opportunity. The ball came off a defender, should possibly have scored from that, but it is St Mirren ahead. It is Livingston 0, St Mirren 1.
It's a brilliant goal, actually. I've just seen it back. It's a ball in behind the full back, a cut back and a finish, and it just shows you 5 minutes into the game, that motivational strategy we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's obviously worked.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing, that Stevie Robinson,
can I
doesn't
just
he?
ask you, see the game here at Rugby Park, and it's the same through in Livingston. See, as a manager, we often talk about a welcomed break from the league. If you find yourself in a position like these clubs down the bottom of the table, do you welcome it, or is there a tendency to want to keep going in the league to try and get those points on the board? Or so that whole phrase of it's a welcome break. Did you look forward to days like today, or was it a kind of bittersweet knowing that struggling in the league?
No, I'm very much look forward to it, because the difference with cup competition and league competition is you're either in or you're out. So it's very much on the day. A league campaign, you can lose a game but pick up the next 2 results. In your cup competition, that's your team talk, to your players, is to say, look, it's all about today. You either perform and we're through, or you don't perform and we're not through, and everything that brings with it, getting through to the next stages of the cup. So for me, I always really relish the opportunity to get as far as you can in any level at cup competition.
In most of the games today, if there's goals scored and given by the referee, there will be goals.
Yes,
scored.
hallelujah. No VAR until Hearts tonight.
Yeah, but Tom, I still don't think that's right. I think they should all have it, or none of us have it. I don't
none of us
it's
have
right.
it then. Let's have none of it. Let's
I
go
would
with
agree with that, but I just think you
Chance
can't be
for
picking and
Dundee,
choosing.
must be. Oh, he's past it. Oh, he's off the line. There's Ugani at the back stick. Oh, it falls to him. It's actually a lovely pass in the box. He's got to lift it. And it's, I think it's maybe Robbie Dees back on the line who managed to block it. Dundee has started like a house on fire, but that should be 1-0, but it remains 0-0. Oh, in fact, the bar! That's a chance! Oh, they've cleared it. How Dundee haven't scored here, I'm not quite sure. It's a headed chance the second time into the box. Yeah, but it's still 0-0. But how Dundee are 1-0 up after that great chance, then hitting the bar, I don't know. But they've started really, really well here.
What an astonishing passage of play. If it was Robbie Dees, I didn't quite see, but what a clearance on the line that is.
Brilliant clearance. But Rory's right. I don't know how they're not 1-0 up there. They had about 3 or 4 chances in the space of about 10 seconds.
I've seen it, yeah, just didn't seem to go in.
Just on chances, Tom, as well. Did you see last week? Now, I know you get a bit of stick about the XG. I'm kind of impartial. I'm kind of impartial to it, to be fair. But did you see the stat for Man City? They won 10-1, and their XG was 2.45. That's incredible.
Yeah, they must have had a lot of. I didn't see any of the goals, to be perfectly honest. They must have had a lot from distance.
Yeah, but that's unbelievable how you could win 10-1.
Yeah, the whole thing's
Yeah.
a nonsense.
You got to get biscuits. You got to
and
get
an XG of that, Tom. Come on.
You got to get with the modern lingo, biscuits.
Okay, we've got to join TikTok tonight.
Come on, get with your low blocks and your XGs.
False nines and all this nonsense.
Alan, what's happening at Tannadice? Any action near either goal at the moment?
Nothing really. United have had slightly the better of it possession-wise. The pitches we talked on, there was a couple of inspections early on. That seems to have dried up and looks okay now. There's a bit of sand on it on the far end. But nothing so far, and I need this game over quick because I've got another game to go to tonight at 8 o'clock.
Oh, very
so I can't have extra time.
I'll spare you then, biscuits. The XA. expected assists.
Okay.
No, you don't want that, no?
No, you're all right. I just want goals, Tom. Just the thing, it's top left normally on the
Expected
TV.
goal. All right, okay. Real goals rather than expected
Correct goals.
He's
Yeah.
only focused on the expected exit from Tannadice so he can get down to Tynecastle today. What have you made of Dundee recently, Alan? They've been a wee bit up and down all season, haven't they?
Oh, Dundee or Dundee United?
Dundee United, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, they have been. Yeah, they have been. It has been a bit of a mixed season recently. I think a couple of great results. I was here. They obviously beat Celtic in the second half and won the game, and then they drew with Rangers. The last minute goal Rangers got for 2-2. They can rise to the occasion, but so often this year it's not been that the case, and they've obviously losing the derby a few weeks back is a tough one in this city as well. So they need to get back to winning ways, but they'll want a good cup run here. They want to try and get into the next round, but equally Scott Brown will be the same.
How's the crowd, Biscuits? It doesn't look. I'm just watching it on the monitor.
Really poor.
Yeah, I've seen that.
There's not a lot, maybe 5,000 maybe if you're lucky.
And that can affect things, you know yourself. You get generate a real good atmosphere at Tannadice. I remember being there early in the season, the European game, and the atmosphere was outstanding, and that can affect the players as well. But no, just looking at that in the monitor, it doesn't look too well attended.
Nah, I think clubs have got to get the pricings right as well. I mean, obviously I've seen everything with the Falkirk fans this week, obviously with the Celtic saying £36 for an away trip at Parkhead, and I think when we have got a cost of living crisis, everything's going up. Football needs to be better. Chance, good hit, good save. Ayr United's first real chance, and it's Dowd for 25 yards. Good save, diving down his left hand side. United keeper Richards turns it away. First chance of the game. 0-0 still.
Ian McCall at Motherwell, Ross County. Much happening at Fir Park, Ian?
Andy, I'm sorry, there is not. I mean, the closer we've come is the big lad White for Ross County, a header, a box standard header from a corner. Motherwell dominating possession. I'm talking about crowds. I think certainly the home attendance, I think Ross County's got about 4 down, but the home attendance is actually really, really quite good for a game like this. But there's not a lot happening. Can I just say, Andy, as well, in terms of the Livingston wages, if they're giving out heavy wages, they wouldn't worry about the championship, because if it was the man, it should be the manager. If they've got a sporting director, a director of football, if there's not a relegation clause in their contract, they should get the bullet. So
yeah,
Colin, there's a lot that doesn't happen now. You'll be surprised.
Well, it's mental.
That is.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of sporting directors, Tom, some interesting comments from the Aberdeen sporting director this week, both on the managerial search, which he doesn't seem to be too rushed by. We'll get on to him being in the dugout in a minute, but he's saying they're going to take their time with this appointment. They're not going to be rushed into anything.
Well, he said it's going to be anywhere between 6 days and 6 months. So, and the manager is going to either be
Did he
Scottish.
say that, Tom?
Yeah, he did.
6 months.
Yeah. I think it was kind of joke. It was 6 days, you know what I mean. But it feeds into what I heard was between 30 and 90 days. So basically, I think the upshot is they're not going to be rushed into this. Lutz Pfannenstiel, he said a lot of things. He said the manager might be Scottish, might be European, might be from Mars. Okay, fine. So he's a great talker. He's brilliant quotes. So he's great for people in my game.
Does he call himself Dr. Football?
No, I don't think so. I don't
that penguin he borrowed.
We need more of that type of gentleman in the game, honestly, that try and reinvent the wheel. We need a lot of these guys.
Well, this is the thing now, and what we're going to
Chance for Dundee United as well. It's the captain Graham. It's a good ball in from a corner, punch down, really poor punch by the keeper right into the middle of the box.
Right, check.
It's an equaliser for Livy. Ball, good passing movement. They've got right themselves right into this game since the men have scored. Not quite sure who tapped into the net. Can confirm that in a moment, Andy.
Scott Arfield, what a story.
But Livy are definitely level, 1-1 at Almondale.
Scott Arfield, what a chance. We'll talk about him in a moment. Chris Doolan, what's happening at Partick?
1-0 Partick Thistle. Andy, it's Patrick Redding breaks down the left hand side. He goes to cross 2 or 3 times and he just keeps dropping his shoulder and he throws a ball into a very busy box by the looks of it, and I think it's Logan Chalmers. I'm just waiting to double check. I think it's Chalmers comes in at the back post and heads it in, but I'll just clarify that for you as quick as I can. 1-0 Thistle.
1-0 Thistle, 1-1 between Livingston and St Mirren.
Apologies, it was Tony Watt.
Tony Watt, great stuff, thanks Chris.
Yeah, it was Arfield, as the boys said, obviously getting the goal there. I went a word with him actually before the game. It's still great enthusiasm. There's a major inquest going in with the St Mirren players in the wake of that loss. They just have a bit of finger pointing going on, or maybe not finger pointing, but investigation.
That is 1-0 Kilmarnock. Dominic Thompson. It's a well-worked corner. Neil McCann and Billy post. No Dundee player near him, and he absolutely lasers it with his left foot, posting in. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 0.
Yeah, great start for Kilmarnock there, and yeah.
Save. Dundee United try to ramp up a bit now. Sapsford this time cuts inside Bannigan on his left foot. Shot off, keeper spills it. Eventually gets cleared, but United on the front foot now. Lot of the ball.
Oh, what a finish that is. Replay the Kilmarnock goal. What a strike that.
Really well worked set play there.
Corner was great set play. But what he's got, I mean, it's good delivery, but that left foot volley is just tremendous off both posts.
Yeah,
right and left.
Good connection, but you see the contribution of the players running their markers in and leaving the edge of the box spare, and it's a cut back cross, obviously straight off the training ground. I don't know if it'll be Doddsy or Terry takes the credit for that, but it's a brilliant.
If it went in, it'll be Neely. If it didn't go in, it'll be Doddsy.
That's what I thought myself, Biscuit.
That was an incredible bit of technique there, Rory, that volley.
Oh, sidewinder they call it. It was fantastic. The delivery for me as well, it's not easy to do, to get it delivered just at that height with enough pace on the ball. But Dominic Thompson, head over the ball, technique, one to watch tonight on Sports Scene, that's for sure. Not just how well the corner was worked, but the execution of it as well. Absolutely fantastic, and it came against the run of play, and the home side had the lead.
Yeah, Sports Scene on BBC One at 10:30 tonight. The great Dougie Donnelly back in the chair this evening, Tom.
How do you think he'll go, the young man? Do you think he's got a chance in this game?
There'll be a few nerves, but I'm sure
he'll be nervous. But I think he's got a chance. He's got potential, the boy.
He is the man whose shadow we all operate in, isn't he?
He is.
Players went down in the box for Dundee. He's going to get booked for simulation. Have a little look and see what you think, Tony, Tom.
Rory, I just watched before that. I thought there were 2 Stonewall free kicks that the referee allowed play on.
Dackers, I thought it was a foul as well.
I thought it was a foul on the one on you get, and then the Billy Cometti on the striker as well, and he's allowed them to go, and he's allowed that one to go and book to player. I'm really surprised.
But does it look like a dive?
I've not seen.
I don't think we're going to get a replay, Rory.
Right, okay.
Sadly.
Right, a couple other goals flying in. Airdrieonians have taken the lead against Arbroath, and Elgin City are 1-0 up on Camelin Juniors. We've been hearing about Kilmarnock taking the lead against Dundee. Livingston 1, St Mirren 1, Partick Thistle leading Montrose by a 0-0. The rest of the games are goalless. Scott Arfield, what an impact with Livingston.
Yeah, I think he felt a little bit aggrieved leaving Falkirk. He felt he'd more to offer there, wasn't getting the chances. Well, he's taken his chance at Livy already. Just a phenomenal player, really. What a pro. Still hungry for it.
Yeah,
still wanting to be out there and making an impact, and he's made a big impact in the early minutes of that cup tie.
He's a real type, and I think it's good business by Davey as well, at this stage of the season, to bring in somebody like that he'll inspire others round about him, and sometimes when you bring in a good player into your club, everybody wants to show them they're good players, so he scores a typical Scott Arfield goal arriving in the box there. I think St Mirren could have done a little bit better in terms of clearing it, but Scott Arfield doing what he does best, and it looks like a real cup tie.
We were talking before that flurry of goals there about Lutz Pfannenstiel and his comments and stuff.
Yeah.
Like sporting directors, this is one of my hobby horses. There are two types of sporting director, and I'm not applying these terms to anybody in particular. There's the ones who know their stuff and make good decisions, and then there are spoofers. And I think the spoofers are in the majority. So we're going to find out which one Lutz Pfannenstiel is very, very soon, because he's got a lot of big decisions to make.
Well, what did you think of this business of him sitting in the dugout, Tony? He seems to think it's no big deal. It's very common on the continent. I wonder, just in Scotland, we're used to the manager being the boss, aren't we? And big, strong figures who run the club.
Yeah, but in that situation there, you don't know his relationship. He's obviously got a close relationship with Peter Leaving.
Who didn't seem bothered by it in the slightest.
And if they talk a lot during the week, then probably the most important time to talk is during a match. And if he's got that pedigree and he's got that background, I don't know, I think Peter had Stuart Duff and the boy Coots beside him as well. So maybe Peter welcomed somebody with the experience that Lutz has got. So I never read too much into it, to be totally honest.
But in fairness to Pfannenstiel, a lot of sporting directors and directors of football, they're mystery men. They stay on the sidelines, they don't talk, they don't communicate with fans or media or anybody. At least Pfannenstiel is out there. He's up front, he's doing his media stuff, he's laying it on the line, he's not hiding. I think if he was to do this when a permanent manager, is in place and he's sitting on the bench beside him, I think that would look odd.
Yeah.
But Peter Levan is an interim. And Pfannenstiel is trying to get to know the players, trying to understand the way Aberdeen are still. He's not there that long. So I don't think, while there's an interim manager there, I don't see any big issue.
Yeah, that's what I thought. An interim manager, and he's somebody there to support them. I thought, but as usual, I think somebody said in the programme earlier on, it's the most scrutinised industry. You know, you can't win if you do it one way. You can't win if you do it the other way.
I don't know why you're obsessed with this game.
If you don't show passion, you know, if you're not up on your feet, you know, you're not showing passion. If you're backward step, you're not involved. You know, it very much just comes down to what works for you.
But if you're winning games, you could stand on your head.
Do what you want.
Do what you want.
You
could have the tactics board and all the trainers you want, or no trainers.
I thought it was. I didn't think it was a great look. The lad going down on the bench, and I thought Peter Levan looked really, really uncomfortable. I just didn't think it was a good look. And you know, the thing is that we do it in the continent all the time. Well, you're in Scottish football, you're not on the continent. You know, you can maybe have a look there. I think it was Iacovite. Maswinices went through 1-on-1, and I don't know if it was handball. I don't think it was handball because there's no penalty given, but an unbelievable clearance off the line. If it was from Maswinice to put Motherwell 1 up, it's still 0-0 here.
Stamatolopoulos getting a lot of the game.
He's no played well at all.
Number 9.
Yeah, we are watching pictures from the games coming in, but not getting many replays, unfortunately.
Right,
okay. But
it was an incredible goal line clearance from Iacovite. It really was.
Are you surprised, Ian, that they've made so many changes? I know the idea is they come in and just replicate what the players have been doing in the team, but as Tom said, it's a huge opportunity for them. And you know, I know Ross County have struggled, but you know, I'm just surprised he's made so many.
The thing is, it's only, I think, Rory, it's only really Connolly and Ross who are of the younger brigade. The other 4, Katrumbis and Gordon, Slattery, and the number 9, Stamatolopoulos, they've all been playing as well. They've been in and out of the team as well. So it's just something he seems to do, and to be honest, listen, it seems to work for him.
I think we'll get Welsh back.
Well, Martin's just sitting about 4 rows down from me, so.
Did you ask him, has he signed anybody yet?
Well, I'm not in the habit of shouting over
Mick,
7 rows.
Start.
And I want to stay on mic, Tom, and be a professional.
Well, at half time when you can go for your cup of tea.
I would definitely
report back.
I'll go and have a chat with him.
Give us a list of his targets.
Yep.
Billy Kemetios had to come off for Dundee injured, which is a bit of a blow. He's a danger up the other end of the pitch, but he's also a good defender, and Clark Robertson's had to replace him.
I think that's a big blow. Just seen that, Rory. I just seen. I think it's a big blow because I think Billy Kemetio brought him to the club. He's a good player. Billy Kemetio's come on to a game. I thought he was outstanding in the Derby game, and I think that's a loss to Dundee.
He's a good defender, Doc, isn't he? But I don't think he can kick a football properly. Is that fair?
I probably disagree with that, Ian. I probably disagree with that.
I think he's a great defender. Listen, there's loads. Yogi was a great defender. He couldn't kick the ball right.
Snooker cushions on his feet.
Norrie McCarthy, God rest him, was a brilliant defender. But
I've got to say, Billy Kemetio technically is a very good footballer.
So he's not all right. Okay, well, I've not really seen him that many times. Just 4 or 5.
Chick Young, Almond Vale, St Mirren, Livingston, St Mirren. How are things shaping up? Seems to be the momentum swinging back and forth a wee bit.
I think that's the very phrase I used there. St Mirren, actually, I think they're doing things sharply enough. You know, they're getting opportunities on the break, then they check out again, start to rebuild, and maybe the ball's needing whipped in to the central area, how they got the goal in the first place. I just think they're over-circulating the ball at times and doing things not quickly enough. Libby have settled since they lost that early goal. They scored that equaliser. Of course, you talked about Scotty Arfield. He's not been involved in the game at all, actually, since that goal. And St Mirren have had more of the possession getting forward, but I'm sure there are further goals in this game to come. I had a terrible feeling, Burkie, this might be extra time and penalties, and I'm here deep into the evening.
We've got our fingers crossed for you, Chick. Right, we're about midway through the first half, and the 3 o'clock kickoffs. Obviously, the early game was Dunfermline Hibernian, a famous win for the Pars. 1-0, an injury time goal 2 minutes into stoppage time. Miguel Chaiwa own goal, giving Neil Lennon's side a famous victory. Airdrieonians are leading Arbroath by a goal to 0. Ewan Henderson with the goal, his 13th goal of the season. Elgin City are leading 1-0 at Camelin Juniors. Dundee United 0, Ayr United 0, Kelty Hearts 0, Cove Rangers 0. Kilmarnock lead Dundee by a goal to 0. A beauty of a volley from Dom Thompson. Livingston 1, St Mirren 1. Scott Arfield cancelling out Roland Adoyu's opener for St Mirren. We're still goalless at Fir Park between Motherwell and Ross County. Partick Thistle leading Montrose by a goal to 0. Tony Watt with the goal there. Spartans 0. Inverness Cally Thistle 0. And Stenhousemuir 0. Greenock Morton 0.
And if you look at our website, you will be able to see those 2 goals. Roland O'Donoghue for St Mirren and Scott Arfield. They've just popped up on our live reporting page.
Yeah, in clips in our live text, so you can see all the goals, or certainly the ones we choose to show you on the live text. Great service at the website. Scottish League 1, Peterhead 1, Hamilton Accies 1, and Stirling Albion 0, East Kilbride 1. Let's check in with Chris Doolan at Partick Thistle Montrose. How are things there, Chris?
I thought the goal for Thistle would have spurred them on, and for the next few minutes after that they looked threatening, and then the game's kind of just slowed down. And to be fair to Montrose, they're holding their own. They play some really good stuff. Lyons off the front, off the left, Loudon through the middle have caused problems to the back line at Thistle, and I certainly don't see them just sinking away. They're playing a back 5, but you know they do have a bit of pace breaking out from the back, and it looks like they're going to soak up a bit of pressure from Thistle and then try and hit them on the counter. And with the guys at the front end of the pitch, they do look threatening, but they've had a chance. They had a cut back that came in. Lyons cut it back, set it back to Brown, and he fired a very good shot, and it was saved by Clark. But that's the kind of best of the action so far.
Andy, there's been a right good chance for St Mirren to go ahead there. It was good play. Declan John he just pulled back in the shot, and it went beyond the post. I thought Dowood got down the left hand side, created the opportunity. I thought he could have done better, missed the target. Saints could have been 2-1 ahead there, but they're not, still 1-1.
Go back to you, Crystal. I just wondered, what have you made of Partick Thistle this season? Obviously going along nicely in the Championship, sitting second. They had a real good run in the League Cup, got to the quarter-finals before they lost to Celtic. What have you made of the job that Mark Wilson's done there?
I think he's doing a really good job. You know, I think the league position suggests that they're doing well. It's a tough division anyway, we know that, and notoriously this time of the year is always difficult for every club, but Thistle always seem to throw away some points at this part of the season, and probably Mark will start to feel a bit like that. But all in all, I think he's doing a really good job. You know, he's got them playing some really nice stuff. He's signed some good players, and if they can keep that type of form going, but you know, he wants to get away from the defeat from Inverness midweek when he made some changes. That's why I think today he's went full strength, and it certainly looks as if they have the strength on the pitch today to get the result. But I think that's why, because he wants to stop those kind of poor results coming in, and get back to winning games, because it's such a difficult league, the Championship. You want to be in good form, or as best form as you can be.
Well, we're talking about January signings, Tom, and the Celtic fans still wait and hope, and I think a bit of bemusement about that club's lack of activity this month so far.
Celtic, any discussion about Celtic's January signings is going to be a very brief discussion, because they've only had one on loan. So I think you listen to Martin O'Neill a couple of times this week, and I think he's becoming increasingly frustrated and trying to keep calm, but I think it's becoming more exacting for him not to say something that might upset people within the club. I think he's watching what he's saying. He's trying desperately to put up a brave
really
face
tough situation, isn't he?
Really
doesn't want to upset the board, doesn't want to upset the fans. He's the man in the middle carrying the thing.
He's got to walk the line. He's got to come in and do multiple press conferences every week. All everyone wants to know is, where's the signings? And he doesn't know. Callum Wilson, no, that's not happening. Number of others, not happening. They've been heavily linked with. Kyogo, another one from a few weeks ago. He doesn't know. He says himself, look, I'm not the guy, I'm not really kind of best placed to find players, because he's been out of the game for so long. That's left to Sean Maloney and James Bell-Walker of recruitment, who's just come in from Chelsea. But they haven't found anyone yet. And Rangers are signing, and Hearts are signing, and the pressure is building. And O'Neill, he must be really annoyed. But he's not going to show that, because he doesn't want to be disloyal to the club and the board. But that's a tough line he's got to walk.
Tom, are Celtic playing Motherwell soon, or would Martin be here watching Mass Wednesday maybe?
Well, I'll tell you that now in a
Go and
second.
check that. Yeah.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, okay. Yes, Dad.
Well, I'm trying to work at a game. You're sitting in the studio, man.
With his feet up on the desk, let me tell you.
Just on Celtic, I know Alan spoke at length about
14th of March.
Miles away.
about the complexities of the transfer window and how difficult it is. I think Celtic have got to bite the bullet at some point and just pay what a club is asking, because any club, when they hear that Celtic are interested in, for example, a striker, that the board of directors are rubbing their hands together going, automatically you ask two things, you look at two things: how much money has the club got, how desperate are they? And Celtic tick both boxes in terms of those things. So all of a sudden 25% gets added on, you then offer that, it gets accepted, the agent's rubbing their hands together going, do you know what, this is what further down the line, it's in the press, they're desperate to get you in, let's add 4, 5, 6 grand on. It's a week, it becomes very difficult, and I think at some point they've just got to bite the bullet. The issue they've got is, as a board of directors, they need to sit down and go, right, are we going to go with a manager who plays a 4-3-3? Because that means that we can sign players just now without worrying too much about into the future. If they're undecided on that, they then need to look shorter term. So there's so many caveats to the Celtic situation at the moment. They're obviously finding it very, very difficult to identify players and bring them in.
There's a number of
guys for Livingston. It was David Martindale has had to go to the fourth official to tell the referee to stop the game. Jerome Pryor has gone down, no one near him at all. The game has been stopped. He identified that situation with his goalkeeper. He's getting treatment at the moment. The teams have gone off the pitch to take refreshments, use that as a drinks break. But there's a problem certainly
it
for
looks like a hamstring check. Just watching the morning, it looks like he's probably done his
Tony,
hamstring.
I thought just the way he sat down, very possibly exactly that. You have a tighter shot than me, but it certainly looks like that kind of area. And if you would imagine if it's his hammy, he's going to carry on. We'll see how it goes. He's trying to indicate to these teammates that he might be, well, I don't know, maybe I'll change your mind here. Now, it's hard to interpret what he's indicating to his teammates, but I think he's going to play on.
That comes into the category of Lazarus, that one, because a minute ago he was pulling.
He looked like he needed a stretcher, didn't he?
Look, I would go back to Celtic. I mean, you hear Martin O'Neill saying we would like to have some people in for the Hearts game next weekend, if it was at all possible. You know, these ifs. It should be when, not if. Now, it probably is going to be when. But Martin O'Neill is not going to sell himself here by saying we're definitely going to have, because he doesn't know. And you look at the people running the recruitment. Sean Maloney, I think he's not an expert in recruitment. James Bell Walker's come in from Chelsea. I spoke to two people during the week about him. One said, with a lot of knowledge of the Chelsea scene, one said, yeah, he was good. The other says, no, he's not as good as people say he is. So we just don't know where Celtic are at right now. And until they get people in the door, there's nothing to judge. That club is so stressed right now behind the
I'll
scenes.
reiterate what I said last week. Celtic are after a striker. The whole of European and world football are after strikers.
They've been after a striker for a year, though. Alan.
No, but I get that. But what I'm saying is that Celtic have no divine right to get that striker if there is one that becomes available. There's clubs in the Championship in England are paying far more wages than Celtic are paying. Plus, the thing is, and Celtic fans won't want to hear this, people don't want to come to Celtic in Scottish football. It's as simple as that. They're playing on AstroTurf at 3 of the grounds. They just have a look and think, if I've got better options elsewhere, I'm off. I'm not going to play inside for Celtic for 5 years.
Ange Postecoglou managed to get a lot of good ones in the door quickly.
Yeah, he had Japanese guys that he knew himself.
Yeah, but why don't Celtic know all these? Why don't they know all these markets? That's the problem.
They wouldn't have known if Ange Postecoglou didn't bring them in.
But they brought in somebody who knew the market. The point here is that they don't know people who know markets around the world. So they're relying on a pretty shallow pool, and they can't get anybody from there.
I take your point, Alan. Absolutely, I agree with. I don't know it as well as you, of course I don't, in terms of the transfers and things. But 12 months is an awful long time to use your reasons as reasons why they haven't got one striker in that time that would fit the bill as a good every week starter for Celtic.
Rory, good players don't become available in January. If you've got a striker that's banging the goal, they don't become available. Clubs don't want to give them away.
Matt O'Reilly was a January signing, I believe. Hatate was a January signing.
Matt O'Reilly was out of contract.
Yeah,
Matt O'Reilly was out of contract.
Hatate came in January. Celtic have picked up a number of stellar players in January. I know it's hard, Alan. I know it is. You know better than anybody. It's hard, but it's not impossible.
No, I think it's the passage of time. A year is a long time.
Kenny says to me during the week, Rangers are managing to do it. do we think Rangers have signed better? Dessa's got 28 goals last year. You think Rangers have signed better?
Well, I think Skov Olsen, I know it's only a loan, 40 cap Danish international. That looks like a good signing in January.
The argument isn't whether the signing will necessarily work or not. Of course, there's an element of risk to every signing. The argument is the passage of time being 12 months seems excessive to keep saying the same things.
Spot on, 100%. I'm not arguing with the fact. I'm just trying to tell you that what Celtic are after, the whole of Europe and the whole of world football's after.
Yeah,
I agree with Biscuit.
Are you going to get, and Docky, you're going to get somebody that's equally what you've got? You need somebody better than what you've got. Now, are they out there? Yeah, but they're probably way over the top of what Celtic can afford. And then again, if the player has a chance to go to the English Championship, they're off. They're away there.
I agree with you, Biscuit, and I was obviously doing the Falkirk game during the week there. When you see a front three lining up a Maeda, striker, you know, an international, centre forward, Yang, who's come into a bit of form, and Konecki, before the game starts, you think that's a decent front three, you know, and they need to get better if they're going to bring in. Your signings need to be better than what you have in the building. You know, obviously the way the game transpired, but that's a relatively strong front three. So you're right, there's no divine right, you know, particularly the profile of the striker you want in January. Hard to come by.
Let's have a look at this. I thought this was maybe a little foul on Murphy at the edge of the box. The referee's going to book him for diving. If you can just have a look. I'm away.
We're not getting replays, Alan, unfortunately. No. So it's real time or nothing. Yeah. And we've got a million screens in front of us here.
It was a good run. You're talking about 22 yards out, but the centre of the goals, and down he goes. Referee is certainly going to book him. As soon as he gets up, he's injured at the moment, so he's going to book him. But this has not been a great game, we've got to say that. Not been that many chances in this match so far at Tannadice, and we're not 35 minutes on the clock. Physio's getting called on for Murphy as well.
You can now watch that Dominic Thompson volley on the website if you like, and it's a beauty, and it's definitely worth watching.
Absolute beauty, Rory Loy, wasn't it? How's that game going? How's Kelly reacted to going in front?
Dundee have been excellent, they really have. It's really unfair on them that they're behind. Since you were last with me in terms of the game, Hayes had a header which has glanced just wide, and Astley had a chance at the back post. Their two wingers, as I suspected, Congreve and Yogan, they've been really good in terms of their build-up play, going by their fullbacks, but they keep over-hitting their crosses. They're not hitting anyone, which is making it very difficult to then create good opportunities on the back of that. Dundee have got all the control in the match, all of it. Kilmarnock do look a threat going the other way. They seem determined to flip it round the corner in behind Dundee for third man runners, whether that's Dominic Thompson, David Watson and John Jules at times. But overall, Dundee have got all the control. They've been really good to watch. They just haven't managed to get that goal, whereas Kilmarnock have. So it remains Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 0.
Kilmarnock just need that win, Tony, no matter how they get it. Even if they grimly hang on and grind out an ugly 1-0, 15 league games without a win, they just need a win however it comes.
Yeah, and that's a good way to get your first goal, you know, that on your quest for that. It was a brilliant goal from a set play that's obviously been worked on. So yeah, it does look, watching the monitor, that there is a lot of dominance there by Dundee, but you're right, anything you can do to get that first win.
And in terms of Ross County at Fir Park, Tony, we know when Motherwell have been going along so well, playing such nice stuff. I mean, Ross County seem to be holding on all right. They're not getting a lot of the ball, as you would probably expect. Yeah,
Ian's obviously watching it closer than now, but it does seem to be, as is the case with Motherwell, it's real dominance of the football, but getting it, there's another shot not in target from 18 yards, so that dominance has to really convert into making sure that you're prolific in front of goal.
Is that the story, Ian McCall? Motherwell having a lot of the ball, maybe just not doing it in that final third at the moment?
Look, exactly. They've had one really good chance, and it wasn't through great build-up play. It was breaking the ball, and Masmanishi went through 1-on-1 from the left-hand side of the box. It was about 12-14 yards out, and it was he beat Carson all ends up, and Iacovidi had magnificent clean off the line. But you know, to be fair, Ross County look a lot. They look really quite well. They should have taken the lead there. It was a strike from distance, and Henderson come up in the follow-up. He's been given offside, and it was a great double save from young Connolly, but it was a strike from distance. I think it might have been from Lindsay. Goalie spilled it, and then Henderson was called offside. That's probably the best chance of the game, and it came from Ross County.
Another great chance for Simon as well. And again, Richardson, when he goes to the line and whips it, things happen for Simon. Too often he's getting to the line, checking out, coming back, waiting for the midfield players to arrive. That time he did it, delivered in the middle, and Killian Phillips on the volley, a little scissors kick on the volley, just beyond the post. Maybe should have scored. Another chance for St Mirren, but it's much more effective when they go to the line and whip it in. It must be frustrating for strikers who have to check out all the time.
Yeah, that was a big chance for Ross County, wasn't it? And Connolly wasn't to know on the Motherwell goal that the flag was going up. It was a brilliant double save.
It was a brilliant save. You had to be really, really sharp, really alert there. And he doesn't know there's an offside on it, but it's sharp goalkeeping. It's a competitive game. They all are right now. There's not a whole lot in any of them.
Yeah, not a huge amount of goals. Obviously, the early kick-off, Dunfermline Athletic beating Hibernian by 1-0. In the 3 o'clock kick-offs, Ayr Geonians 1, Arbroath 0, Camelin Juniors 0, Elgin City 1, Dundee United 0, Ayr United 0, Kelty Hearts 0, Cove Rangers 0, Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 0, Livingston 1, St Mirren 1, Motherwell 0, Ross County 0, Partick Thistle 1, Montrose 0, Spartans 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 0, Stenhousemuir 0, Greenock Morton 0, and we've got a goal on our screen. Tony, who's that for?
Chance.
Is that
Stevenson, Dundee United, great effort.
That's Stenhousemuir. Stenhousemuir, I think, have taken a lead against Morton.
We have indeed. Alan, on you go.
Yeah, it's really good play by Dundee United. It's Fata with a drive and run. Eventually it comes back to Stevenson, edge of the box. He tries to reverse it into the top corner. He's not far away. Keeper clutching at straws there, just wide of the target.
Yeah, Stenhousemuir taking the lead, and they're having a great season, top of their league.
That's one that's the one I fancied today for a shock. You know, Gary Naismith's done a brilliant job there, a really fantastic job, and again with the team, they're top of their league at the moment, and they're at home. And I never seen the goal, I've just seen the celebrations, but that's one that I think could be a shock for today.
Yeah, Stenhousemuir top of League One, and Gary Naismith, Alan, he's just one of these guys that quietly goes about his business, but clearly doing a very good job at Stenny.
Yeah, he's been around. He's been at East Fife, Queen of the South as well, and then obviously now at Stenhousemuir, and he was at Hearts as a lone guy as well. Very experienced as a player at Everton, Scotland, 47, 48 caps, something like that. So no, he knows the game, very good knowledge of it. He's done very well, and Stenny getting promoted for the first time in a 100-year history a couple of years back, or last year, whenever it was, but really good, brilliant, and it's not really much of a shock. Morton have been struggling a little bit, and Stenny have been flying.
Yeah, what
does that constitute? Thistle here, Alex Samuel getting behind. He's been a real threat all day. His link-up play's been excellent. He's been a pillar to bounce off, and for once he actually just spun in behind, and Logan Chalmers knocked it down the side, and he's just fired it into the side netting. But another chance for Thistle, still 1-0.
Yeah, Alan, you mentioned Greenock Morton. I wonder what you make of what's been going on there. Obviously, Dougie Imrie departed recently. The news last night or this morning that Billy Davies has gone as technical head coach, which is a term I wasn't familiar with, but seems to be a wee bit of uncertainty around Capello at the moment.
Yeah, there is, and that's a couple of clubs are struggling at the moment, Andy, I'm afraid. You know, look at what's happening at Accies as well. It's just not great at all. They're traditional clubs, football clubs, and you just want them to do better if they can. Ian Murray's gone in, he's going to have to try and change it around. Dougie done really well while he was there, but he might have thought, you know what, this is the time for me to get out, giving Ian Murray a chance. Billy Davies then looked away, okay, it's not for me now, and he stepped aside because he's a wealth of experience. You'd think that, although Ian's an experienced manager as well, having someone like Billy behind you is good for you as well, but clearly he stepped away now, so it's down to Ian Murray and Ian Murray only.
Anybody know what a technical head coach is?
Not a clue.
Thank you. Just thought it was me there for a second, dude.
What about a false 9?
What's the XG in your match, Biscuits?
0.
Well, Rangers kicked things off in the Scottish Cup fourth round at home to Annan Athletic last night. Tony, a 5-0 victory. Hat-trick for Bojan Miovski, and a professional job taking care of business.
Yeah, I thought they were very good. I thought Annan started the game really well.
They did, yeah.
And but I thought Rangers, you're right, that professionalism and Miovski, and it just looks just now like there's real competition for places, and you could see in Miovski particularly that he was going to take that opportunity, you know, to put pressure on the strikers that are ahead of him, and I think with the additions that they brought in as well, they're showing their strength.
It looks like
penalty kick
for Morton against Stenhousemuir, so we'll bring you up to date on that. But yeah, Miovski, Tom, he's He came in and we saw what he did at Aberdeen. I think a lot of people thought that was a really good fit. Not quite happened for it. He showed it in flashes, but that should give him a bit of confidence.
Yeah, flashes was probably being very kind.
Yeah.
Look, if Rangers get the Aberdeen Majowski, then they're in business. And last night, okay, look, it's Annan, but he looked sharp. He looked sharp, and it's not just the fact that he scored a hat trick. It's his confidence that he might get from that.
Brilliant save there for goalkeeper Stennis Muir from the penalty kick. Actually never just saved it, held on to it.
You rarely see that these days.
Very
don't you?
rare, yeah.
Yeah, so
sorry, Andy, just
carry on.
Tom, something for you to think about. Lyle Cameron's going to Aberdeen.
Yes.
Has the fee been agreed yet?
I don't know.
Why is it taking 6 months to get?
Is it a tribunal? Is it a tribunal?
Tribunal, yeah. It's now taking 6 months. This is getting ridiculous now. He's now moved on to another club on loan. Yeah, I get that, but the fee is still not agreed between Rangers and Dundee. This has to be. This can't take 6 months.
Yeah, that's crackers.
The same was with what's his name? Barron was the same. That took ages.
That took a long time, didn't it?
This
Conor Barron
has to get sorted out. It's just not right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, the Camelin Juniors' dream is still alive. They've equalised against Elgin City, so they are very much still in the Scottish Cup story. They, of course, beat Edinburgh City in the third round to continue their journey, and giving Elgin City a lead to a really good game there. So let's see.
Great picture there. Did you see it? And the celebrations by the fans standing up there with the.
Was it to rival the Dunfermline fans' celebrations earlier?
Good to know that you can play at a junior ground, not unless you're Celtic.
Well, you know, Chick, we've over the course of this before, Chick. You're like a dog with a bone.
And the Flotterclake fans are back in my viewpoint. A lot of them are just going to snub it, watch it in the pub, which is what I'm going to do, actually.
Well, you do surprise me. I mean, it was on police advice, wasn't it? But anyway.
Stennis Muir scored again.
We've had it before a few weeks ago, Charles.
Yes, I know.
Hearts played there, we get it.
Yeah. And Aberdeen played at Darvel, so don't. I mean, it's just a nonsense. Absolute no. You might not, but just don't bother with Scottish Cup draw. Look at Hampton. Look what happens in England. Look at what we get in England when they have the real romance of the FA Cup. We just throw that down the toilet.
I think everybody would agree that this game should be a home game for Auchinleck Talbot. But if the police say no, what are they going to do? What can you do if the police say no?
No, they didn't say. They said the advice was.
Well, look, the advice is as good as saying no. If they're advising you, don't play this game at home, then they're telling you, don't
sure,
play
this is Groundhog Day, Tom, did we not?
We did.
I did say that, Ian. I did say I may have passed this way before, I know.
Yeah.
But it's my last chance.
Yes.
I don't mean it's my last chance in life. It's all about this game.
We're relieved to hear
it. The game being tomorrow, they're not going to change it.
No, probably.
No, I think Chick makes a sound point. You want this game to go ahead, right? At Auchinleck. You want that game to be a home game. You want Celtic to go there. And the visuals of that would be amazing. But this is the way things have gone, I'm afraid. When the police say no, you got to act. It's a shame, but what are you going to do?
Well, a real sliding doors moment. Stenhousemuir and Greenock Morton. Steny were leading 1-0. Greenock Morton had a penalty. They missed it, and Steny have gone right up the other end and scored to make it 2-0. So Stenhousemuir in charge there. We mentioned Camelin Juniors. They've equalised against Elgin City. And Arbroath continue to trail away to Airdrie Onions. And Cove Rangers have taken the lead away to Kelty Hearts. So the goal's starting to trickle in. What's going on at Rugby Park, Rory?
Yeah, it was Jack Thompson's brought down Congreve. How Dundee aren't at least level in this game, I'm not quite sure. It's a good break from Congreve. He cuts inside and he looks like he's going to unleash a shot. Jack Thompson just trips him up, basically. So it's a free kick in a good position. Yandanda hit the last one and hit the wall. So it'll be interesting to see who gets the nod for this one. It's about 25 yards out, just left the centre of the goal. So a chance for Dundee.
Half time at Fir Park, 0-0.
Yeah, Motherwell 0, Ross County 0. Dundee, Tony, looked to be giving it a right old go at Rugby Park. What's happening, Alan?
Oh, yes.
We set 2.
Half time in Maryhill, Andy. Patrick 1, Montrose 0.
Leon King shielding the ball out, and he gets pushed in the back by Fatah. He goes into the billboards. Bannigan's not happy at all. He's in there. Sapsford's joined in. Waters is joined in. Ferry, the captain's up. Graham, the captain's up. It's the stewards are now involved at the back of it. There's a steward there as well coming on. Referee's got a bit of this to sort this
Half-time,
out.
Andy, 1-1.
Bit of pulling and dragging, Alan.
Yeah.
At least there's something for you to talk
Still
about,
Leon
Alan.
King. Leon King's lying at the back of the goals off the pitch, having banged into the advertising boards as well. So hopefully he's okay.
I was a wee bit concerned when the steward came in there. Biscuits, the Alexis Sale lookalike there. That looked a bit. That's when it looked a wee bit serious to me.
Right, a couple of half times there from Chick at Almondvale, Livingston 1, St Mirren 1, and from Chris at Firhill, Partick Thistle 1, Montrose 0. We're starting to reach the halfway point. In the games around the country, half-time, Stenhousemuir leading Greenock Morton by 2-0, and that was a real turnaround moment, Tom, wasn't it? That Morton penalty getting saved on a sickener for them, steady getting up the other end and scoring.
But talk about paying the price. You win a penalty and you think, okay, great, we can make it 1-1, game on. You miss the penalty, and seconds later you're 2-0 down and you're really up against it. I mean, that is, you're talking sliding doors, but they need to score the penalty. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. They had a great opportunity to go 1-1.
Roos and Fata have been yellow carded. I'm just watching this again. I've managed to get a replay, and it's Leon King. He slides off the pitch on his knees straight into the advertising hoardings, and it's hit him right in the chest, in the ribs, by the looks of it. He looks in a real bit of pain. Then the melee's after it. The referee done the right thing. He's called both captains over, told them to settle down. Then he's pulled out the yellow card and he's booked Roos off Ayr and Fata off Dundee United. But Leon King's a concern.
I'm not sure Fata's done much wrong. I've seen the same.
Doesn't seem to be much in it, did there?
As you've seen, Biscuits, in it. I just think the hoardings are too close to the pitch, and both players are going to try and contest the ball going out, and I don't think he's done much wrong there. Roos has come up and pushed him, and I think that's harsh on Fata.
Roos has kind of continued it, hasn't he? He's kind of created the bit of the melee. But Fata, I don't think he's done a whole lot wrong.
He's not. No.
What have you made of Ayr United in the first half, Alan?
Defended well, resolutely. They've done away okay. Dundee United shooting down the slope, as we all know. Colley and the Dock will know themselves, shooting down the way. It's their favourite way. So if Ayr United can get to half time, it's for them to then shoot down the slope, and a real opportunity for them. There's not much in this game. They've had a couple of chances each, but it's been really poor. Just as I say that, half time whistle goes here. Now
the goalkeeper is that a save to make, Alan? Is that right?
The keeper, Anton Dowse had a shot saved by Richards, and that's been really about it. The Hubbard shot, Sapsot had a shot, but easily saved. Fata hit the side netting, but there's not been a great deal of quality.
Yeah, half-time at Tannadice, Dundee United 0, Ayr United 0. We are half-time in most of the games. Still playing at Rugby Park, Rory Loy.
Yes, indeed. That injury to Billy Comethio meant there was 3 minutes added on. The clock stops at 45 here at Rugby Park, so not quite sure how far we are into it. We must be a good bit. Dundee have a free kick just inside the Kilmarnock half, which they'll sling into the box in the hope of grabbing an equaliser right on half-time. It'll be Jan Danda to put it in, but it looks as though it's going to be 1-0 Kilmarnock at half-time, Andy, but we're not quite there yet.
They do that at a lot of grounds, Tom. They stop the clock on the 45 or the 90. It really annoys me, because I'm no one for calculating in my head or remembering to put a stop clock on to work out how long's left.
What's the point of that?
Is it I don't know, is it to enhance the drama maybe? I'm not sure.
Just let the clock go.
That is half time. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 0.
Right, okay, fair enough.
We got
that was
there
exactly
in the end.
3 minutes, by the way.
You were on it. You've got it.
Look, Tony,
that's why Tom.
Got a pro. Good to know there's someone on the button here.
Tom and I couldn't afford to watch like that in about a month or so. Right, we are at half time and the 3 o'clock kickoffs around the country. We will get half time reports from our guys from around the ground. So stay with us here on Open All Mics on BBC Radio Scotland.
On your radio,
Online at BBC Sport Scotland
your smart speaker.
and BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
It's time for more of this.
Are you serious?
The Traitors Uncloaked is the only place you'll see players react as they find out who's been deceiving them.
I knew it!
It's the only place for official behind-the-scenes deep dives into the latest plot twists.
That is brilliant.
And it's the only place where we chat to famous fans and players from series gone by.
I wouldn't want to be a traitor.
Oh, it's the best part. No, that's what a traitor would say.
Yeah.
The Traitors Uncloaked, the official visualised companion podcast with me, Ed Gamble. Watch on iPlayer, listen for more on BBC Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Andy Burke, in the studio with Tom English and Tony Docherty. We are at half-time in the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the fourth round of the Scottish Cup. In the early kickoff, a fantastic day for Dunfermline Athletic. They beat Hibernian by 1-0 to advance to the fifth round. A great day for Neil Lennon, his players and all the Pars fans. Great scenes at East End Park. Not such a good day for Hibs, who I'm sure would have fancied a good run in the Cup this season. That is not to be. They are out. Let's go round some of the other games in the 3 o'clock kickoff. Dundee United versus Ayr. Alan Preston has been watching on. What's been happening, Alan?
Half-time is 0-0, Andy, unfortunately. But there have had some chances. Anton Dowser, a 25-yard shot, well saved by Richards in 10 minutes. Then United had a flurry of half chances, really. Graham had a lob onto the top of the net. Sapsford had a shot well saved, and Fata hit the side netting. But the best effort came in 39 minutes from Stevenson. It was a good move. Fata done well down the left. It eventually come back to Stevenson, 25 yards, just wide of the target. Ayr United have weathered the storm. Half-time score, Dundee United 0, Ayr United 0.
All Premiership tie at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock up against Dundee, and the story of the first half comes from Rory Loy.
Yes, indeed. The story of the first half, Andy, is that Dundee have been by far and away the better side, but haven't managed to capitalise on their chances created. The first of which came on the 4th minute, when a Ugan header in the middle of the goals was comfortably saved by Kyle Roos in the goals. A minute later, and Ugan had a shot blocked after a lovely move from Dundee. He should have lifted it, he should have scored, it should have been 1-0. It wasn't. That was swiftly followed by a header off the bar, and Kilmarnock were at 6s and 7s at the back. But the real moment of quality came on the 11th minute when David Watson pinged a corner, a well-worked routine from the training pitch, and arriving late on the edge of the box was Dom Thompson, who pinged one with his left foot, head over the ball, in off one post, clipped the other post before it went into the net. It was a thing of absolute beauty to put the home side 1-0 up. On 19 minutes, Ashley Hay glanced one just wide of the post as Ashley had an opportunity himself in the 20th minute of the match. After that, there was about a 15-20 minute lull in action and real quality in the game. Dundee, as I said, have been the better side, but you need to take your chances. Kilmarnock have taken their probable half chance of the match, and that's why it is at half time at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 0.
Another All Premiership tie at Almondvale. Livingston versus St Mirren. Chick Young, how is that one shaping up?
Yeah, very finely balanced 1-1 at half-time. It's St Mirren who took the lead. It was a good run by Richardson down their inside. Adolo with a very inside the 6-yard box to put St Mirren ahead with a simple finish. And St Mirren threatened time after time down the flanks. Declan John getting forward as well. Just a wee bit reluctant at time to fire the ball in early, and the strikers checking out. 11 minutes the clock, they get Livingston get level. Scott Arfield with his first goal for his new club, good passing move, and he finished with inside the box, and Livingston began to get themselves a little bit of momentum and got themselves right into the game in the wake of that. It's ebbed and flowed, actually, to be fair. St Mirren again getting forward, missed a couple of opportunities. Killian Phillips with one, he should really have finished. He was hit it in the volley again, coming in, getting the ball from the right hand side from Richardson. When he gets forward, he creates things. He does get forward, but then checks out again when he maybe should be whipping the ball into the box. I don't know if Stephen Robinson will address that issue at half time. Finally balanced second half ahead at Almondvale Stadium. It is at half time. Livingston 1, St Mirren 1.
Motherwell up against Ross County at Fir Park, and Ian McCall's been watching on for us.
Yeah, it's pretty poor fare, to be honest, at Fir Park. Expecting a bit better. It's Motherwell 0, Ross County 0. I mean, credit to Ross County because they're very well organised. 5-3-1-1 out of possession, becoming 3-5-2. The closest Motherwell came in the first half was Maswanise. He's broken into the box after about 15 minutes. He's 1v1 with Trevor Carson, and he beats him all ends up because his strikes are absolutely brilliant. But Yakoviti comes out of nowhere, and I think it's a header off the line, and I mean it looked like he nearly knocked himself out. He was able to continue. It was an incredible goal line clearance. I mean the closest Ross County have come was one from Jay Henderson. Jamie Lindsay had a great strike, and it's a good save from young Matty Connolly in the Motherwell goal. Jay Henderson was on the rebound, probably should have finished it, but another good save from Matty Connolly. Matty Connolly was not to know that Jay Henderson was offside. I would expect one or two changes, freshening it up for Motherwell. Ross County will be really happy with how it's going. At half time at Fir Park, it's Motherwell 0, Ross County 0.
Let's head to Firhill. Partick Thistle up against Montrose. Chris Doolan.
Yeah, it's Partick Thistle 1, Montrose 0, Andy, at half time. As you can imagine, most of the chances, or half chances, have came the way of the home side. They've dominated most of the possession. They took an early lead through Tony Watt. A fantastic run down the left hand side from Patrick Redding, and he dropped his shoulder 2 or 3 times and then delivered a fantastic ball, and an unmarked really, Tony Watt, inside a really busy box, and he managed to head down into the ground and send Thistle 1-0 up. Montrose, to be fair to them, have held their own. They've came here with a back 5, with 2 midfielders and 3 forwards, and they've caused problems at times. They got a chance in the 16th minute, and there's a cut back from Lyons, cut back to Brown, and he stepped on and hit a fantastic shot. Was well saved by Clark, but apart from that, they've not really threatened the Thistle goal after that. Most chances have came down Thistle's right hand side. Logan Chalmers involved in most of them. He had a chance in the 25th minute when he cut inside in his left foot, playing that inverted right hand side winger. He cuts in his left foot and he bends one just over the top from about 20 yards out, and then he had another big chance. There was some brilliant play by Stanway down the left hand side, and he stuck a brilliant ball in behind for Patrick Redding. He cut it across the 6-yard box and stepped on Litsosa from midfield, and he happened to catch it with the outside of his right foot, I think, and pass it by the post. And as I said, most chances came in down that right hand side. Logan Chalmers again involved. He broke away. They've had a couple of counter attacks on Partick Thistle's side when Chalmers could do better. He had a chance, he stepped inside and he hit a shot when he had McPherson bombing down that right hand side over his shoulder, and he could maybe have slipped him in. But if they start the second half the way they finished the first half, I think they'll be more than happy. But at half time, it's Partick Thistle 1, Montrose 0.
Right, let's head to the game at Carmuirs Park. Camelin Juniors of the East of Scotland Premier Division up against League 2 Elgin City. Camelin, of course, have already beaten League 2 opposition in Edinburgh City to reach the 4th round. Let's get the half-time report from Michael Steele.
Thank you very much, Andy. Well, it's a great atmosphere here, I have to say. Camelin Juniors, like you're saying, playing up a few divisions against League 2 side Elgin City, and usually it's 250 people in attendance week to week here. However, this week is 1,200 in attendance, so certainly a special atmosphere. However, it wasn't a dream start for the home side. Elgin City did take the lead. Kane Hester, a man we know well in Scottish football, he scored his 8th goal of the season, a lovely header putting the Highlanders 1-0 up on the 13th minute. However, it was very scrappy after that. Few chances between the sides. The referee was a busy man in the middle of the park, but just before half-time, Jordan Kirkpatrick, a man we know actually very well in Scottish Cup history. He's the man who scored the winner for Darvel against Aberdeen a few years ago. He scored the equaliser for Camelin Juniors just before half-time. He did go off injured, however, in the build-up to the goal. He was replaced by Jason Walton just before half-time, the club captain. However, finally poised here, potentially a cup upset on the cards. Camelin Juniors 1, Elgin City 1.
Great stuff, Michael. Great story unfolding there at Camelin. Can they book a spot in the 5th round? They've more than doubled, as Michael would say, their home attendance, and that is what the Scottish Cup is all about. Right, the teams are starting to emerge back out onto the pitch, up and down the country, so stay with us for all the action from the second half on Open All Mics.
On your radio,
online at BBC Sports Scotland,
your smart speaker,
and BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.
Yes, the action just about to get underway. We can see the players out on the pitch at Fir Park. They look like they're not far away. The Greenock Morton players are back out against Stenhousemuir. They've got work to do, trailing by 2-0. Some of the other half-time scores as we go into the second half. Airdrieonians leading Arbroath by 1-0. Kelty Hearts 0, Cove Rangers 1, Spartans 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 0. And as I say, Stenhousemuir 2, Greenock Morton 0. It's been a few goals, Tom. We could be doing with a few more in the second half, couldn't we?
We could be doing with a few more. We might get some. I'm sure we'll get plenty more in the second half. We might get some tonight. Tony beside me here is reminded of a certain game that took place 23 years ago in a cup tie between Falkirk and Hearts, who obviously playing tonight. Mighty Falkirk stun Hearts. Do you know anything about this, Ian McCall?
Was that the 4-0 game or the game I played in one we beat them 6-0?
No, it was the 4-0 game. Don't milk it. Don't milk it.
Yes, and I think a very young, fresh-faced Tony Docherty was standing beside me.
4-0 up after half an hour. 23 years ago. Does it feel like 23 years ago?
Well, we hit the bar in the post in the first half as well, and then Willie Young never gave us a Stonewall penalty. About 5 minutes to go. Lee Miller.
Not that you hold a grudge, Ian.
No, listen, it was actually my last game at Falkirk. But anyway, it was a brilliant attendance, brilliant day for the Falkirk. There must have been 7,000-8,000 there, and the atmosphere.
7,500.
Yeah, but there was probably about 10,000 there, knowing the chairman. But listen, Tony will tell you what the atmosphere was like. It was something else.
It was a brilliant day, that, wasn't it? And it was very much the Colin Samuel story, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He got a hat-trick within 30 minutes.
Young Craig Gordon in the goals.
Craig Gordon in goals.
Stephen Presley actually played centre back.
Presley played centre back. Yeah.
We saw Colin Samuel's back an awful lot that day.
If you had a handy front three.
Oh, Coyley, I mean, he's the best finisher I've ever played or worked with.
That's a pretty handy team that you had.
Mark Kerr. Yeah, with a lot of good players.
Yeah,
that.
There you go. Well, hopefully we get plenty of goals tonight. Hopefully we get plenty of goals, Berkey, in the next 45 minutes.
You would like to think so, wouldn't you? But where would that particular night, Tony, rank in your best Scottish Cup memories that you've been involved in?
That would be right up there, I think, because that backstory with Colin Samuel, bringing him over from Trinidad and Collie doing what he did, managing that team, which was a brilliant team. Marshall would be Yogi at the back and Coyley up top and Alan Ferguson at the back, had a real spine through it. So that would be a real highlight, I think, in my coaching. He's working under Ian, my coaching. Probably the low light would be the 2017 Cup final with Aberdeen, with Derek, when Tom Rogic, if you remember, scored the last kick of the ball.
Lightning bolt.
Yeah, so we go from one extreme to the other, best and worst experiences in the Scottish Cup.
Lee McCall, to pick up that thread, best and worst experiences in the Scottish Cup.
Well, it was another good one actually. The Doc was involved in as well. I'm sure we beat Aberdeen the year I get the bullet at Dundee United. I'm sure we beat them 5-1 in it was either the semi-final or the quarter-final at Tannadice. I'm sure that was the Scottish Cup. Worst is very easy. It's Auchinleck Talbot 1, Ayr United 0. It was utterly horrendous. I came out the ground at the end of it, and there's rows of houses, and the bus was 10 minutes late, and all the punters were in their back gardens getting hammered, singing, getting sacked in the morning. Not my greatest moment.
We've opened up a scar there.
We have.
Still a win rate about 47%. Relaunched the club right enough, Ben.
At least they played it at Auchinleck.
That was true that day. It was a 3 o'clock kick-off though, Chick. That's the big difference.
Well, we talk about these giant killings and how great they are for the competition. You don't really think about the guys on the other side of it who are the victims of the giant killings.
Well, you see, that's isn't that typical of managers? So I'm trying to give Ian a nice, heartfelt, a warm, feel-good story there. But quickly he turns around. That was my last game. I got sacked. Then I got sacked. Then we lost this one.
Upper hill, Andy.
On you go, Chris.
And I think it's Tony Watt again. It's a corner that's come in from the left-hand side, sorry. It's somehow managed to land in the 6-yard box, and he literally just strokes it with it. I think it's the outside his right foot, very, very casually. Great finish, terrific finish. He just knocks it in with the outside his right foot into the middle of the goals, and it's 2-0 Partick Thistle.
Tony Watt is still knocking them in, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good finisher, Tony. He's really, really talented, and give him that kind of space and time in the box. He's a proven finisher.
Yeah, and Chris was talking earlier, Tom, about the job Mark Wilson's doing. Thistle going along really well in the Championship, and he's going along all right, Mark, isn't he?
I don't think Ayr United are coming out. Dundee United have been out for 5 minutes. Sapanowski's ready to come on. He's been standing there. Sapsford, I think, is going off.
That's a bit of a blow to my prediction that Ayr United are going to win this game.
And eventually they've just come out. They've just come out now. United have been out for 5 minutes.
Is that United out earlier, or Ayr United being late?
I think it's probably a bit of both. United have had the better of the chances, Andy, in that opening half. But Ayr United very much in the game, and they'll be fancying their chances shooting down the hill now. As I said, there is a change. Sapsford off, Trapanovsky on for Dundee United. 0-0.
But yes, Partick Thistle, Mark Wilson. I think people were a bit sceptical, weren't
they?
Very
like we were saying about Stephen Presley earlier.
Yeah,
I think a few folk were questioning that.
A bit of that. Okay, I mean, they're five points. They've played one more game in the league, in the championship, than St Johnstone. 5 points behind. But St Johnstone are brilliant in that league. Partick Thistle have surprised me. You know, there's a lot of optimism there, and they're going well.
Yeah, and it's such a tough league, Tony, isn't it? The Championship. Yeah. We heard Neil Lennon talking about trying to get out of it this season, and he's saying, I think if Dunfermline go up, we will do okay in the Premiership, but the getting up part's the difficult bit.
Such a difficult league, and again, back to your point, I think Willow's done great. You know, a young manager. Yeah. I think he's shown good decision making there with bringing in Alec Ray as well. I think he's got a good bit of experience. I think he recognised himself. You know, going in as a young manager, you need that experience from about you. And I've seen the two of them working together, and it's a good pairing, you know, and I think that's paid dividends to Partick Thistle this season.
Yeah, and Chris Doolan, it would be brilliant for the club to get back to the top flight, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be brilliant, and you know, that's where the club wants to be. That's where it probably should be in terms of infrastructure, but we all know it's not as straightforward as that. There's a lot of teams come into the Championship and can't get back out at the first time of asking, and they spend a lot of time in the Championship, as notoriously it's such a difficult league, but it's probably one of the most exciting leagues, if I'm honest, in the country as well.
We never have thought that Falkirk would have been away 16 years.
Yeah,
they went down.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And United have made a change as well. Jude Bonner has come on, and it's Murphy that's going off.
Well, we mentioned Falkirk, the job John McGlynn, and we talk about it every week just about Tom, but you can't not. The job he's done, the journey he's taken that club on, and they'll go to Tynecastle tonight. They'll know they'll be, you know, underdogs, but they will go and give that a right crack.
They will, and what's like, I mean, John McGlynn, he always plays attractive football, tries to get his team playing, you know, in inverted commas, the right way. And even against Celtic, you know, the other night, they're playing good football, good possession football. They're not trying to outmuscle anybody. They're not trying to run around like, you know, physical brutes trying to beat people up. They're trying to play. They're trying to outplay you. And I think they're a really good watch.
Dundee have hit the bar again. My goodness, it was from a corner again, and it's glanced. I think it was Ashley Hay who's glanced it and it's cannoned off the bar. How Dundee are not level in this game, I've no idea. Neil McCann's made a change at half-time, which probably shows you how he feels the game's going as well. Michael Schoening-Larsen has come off, and Rory McKenzie's gone on. Nick Thompson, the goal scorer's dropped back to left-back, and McKenzie will fill the void that he has left in the middle of the pitch, because Dominic Thompson was playing more centrally. But Dundee hit the bar again. How they're not level, I'm not sure. It's still 1-0 Kilmarnock.
Tom, I think the good thing tonight at Tynecastle is Falkirk have got the full away end as well.
Oh, right, brilliant.
Sold out, so it's brilliant. Really good. It'll be a great atmosphere. The game's completely sold out now, so it'll be really good.
See Aberdeen looking for a manager. Is the answer not fairly obvious and pretty closer to home than Mars?
But
John McGlynn.
But you're talking about that, and I was talking that to my mate on the way up, actually. Clubs get a bit snobby.
Yes.
Don't look closer to home. Yeah. You look at Aberdeen and the mess they've been in since Derek McInnes left. They've been in a total mess.
It's the old debate though, Tom, isn't it? Some people will say it's lazy just to look at the guys on your doorstep. Look at what Motherwell have done with Jens Bertolascu, but for every Jens Bertolascu there's been an experimental Wilfred Nancy and many others.
Yeah, absolutely, there is tons, and listen, Aberdeen have got it wrong so often since Derek McInnes left that club. Okay, yes, they win the Scottish Cup, and that's a momentous achievement, but it was an isolated day in an otherwise disappointing time for Jimmy Tulane. They have to get this one right, and I get a little bit every time I hear, you know, sporting directors or chairmen go, "Oh, we've had 100 applications. Oh, we've had 150 all around the world." I just think, right, first of all, no, you haven't. I don't believe that for a second. And
well, a lot of them from agents.
Walter Zenga, he's in for every job. He's not going to a bag of crisps.
Neville Scala, he was always like that, wasn't he?
Sometimes the most obvious answer is right in front of your face.
Stuart Baxter.
Yeah.
Another one, eh?
He must have got a job at some point check, you know.
Tom, just to highlight that point as well you make, John McGlynn, we talk these days about improving the squad you've got, improving players. Aberdeen on paper have got right good players in their squad now. You look at Danny Rule, for example, how much he's improved players. John McGlynn signed boys from universities, and he's improved them to the point
where he's a coach, isn't he?
He's improved them to the point where they're doing extremely well in the Premiership. So you can't tell me John McGlynn can't go into Aberdeen and improve a hell of a lot what's already there.
But so why has it not been mentioned? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's into betting.
Not sexy enough.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Probably what it boils down to. Yeah.
Yep.
In a football sense, to be clear.
Each to their own, Berkey.
Each to their own.
But you talk about improving players, that is the ultimate.
It is.
Signing somebody from a university and having them performing week in, week out in the Premiership is an incredible story.
But not even that, watching Falkirk, staying in that Falkirk theme, watching them the other night and seeing players that have come through like Spencer and Henderson and Ethan Ross and Dylan Tate. Ethan Ross and Dylan Tate, two players that will work. But you're right there, Rory, to say that. The job's all about improving and developing players, and watching them the other night, I thought the performance was fantastic. Celtic do what they do in the first 10 minutes of each half. They kind of steamroller you, but Falkirk just played their way and ended up getting total control of the game, and it was such an impressive performance that, their aspirations to be a top 6 team based on the evidence of the other night, I would say absolutely.
They have a clear identity, Tony, haven't they?
They do. That's the biggest.
But Aberdeen, I don't know what Aberdeen are, what they are.
Doc, do you not think as well there's sometimes when a manager just finds a home, and a really good home?
I said that the other night, Biscuits. I do. And
he's
the
done
atmosphere,
a wonderful job.
The atmosphere that's generated, that match the other night, to have been at Falkirk as well. I think they planned to sell 2,000 season tickets this season, and they're up to 5,200. And you see when they play the way they played the other night, when the crowd gets behind them. And I said at the start of the season, I did fancy Falkirk this year to get that top 6 berth because of what they can generate with their supporters. And when they're playing the way that they're playing, and they've got supporters that are appreciating it, it's a difficult venue to go to. And you've seen the real force of them the other night. They were unfortunate enough to enter the game.
It makes you wonder as well, Tony, how many Calvin Millers are out there that have fallen down the leagues that just didn't get under the right manager at the right time. There's a lot of talent probably getting wasted out there because they haven't found the right place at the right time. And John McGlynn, the players will respect him, of course they will, but they probably don't realise how lucky they are that they fell under his leadership when they did.
Yeah, you're right, and it's the amount of work that he does with them. Dylan Tate being an example of that. Ethan Ross, again, boys that I've worked with it. I know the way John works. He's so thorough in terms of his analysis of opposition, but he's preparing his own team, and I think you're right in saying that. The players have really developed. Calvin Miller, young player that started at Celtic, went out on loan to Dundee and Ayr United, I think, went down south, but then he found a home, as you say, working with John McGlynn, and you look at his performance the other night, and the wide players, he was outstanding.
But that would, for me, if you're Dave Cormack or you're Lutz Pfannenstiel, you can't keep spending money. They spent between £5 and £6 million last season, right? In the two windows, or last year in the two windows, £5 to £6 million, and a lot of that I think was wasted on players who really are not made of the right stuff. And I don't think any of them are really improving. And it goes back to the point you're making. John McGlynn makes players better. He coaches them, he makes them better. That's what Aberdeen need. He need someone to come in and make these guys better because they can't keep spending money the way they've been spending.
And people might look at John McGlynn and say, well, does he have enough presence, etc., to manage in Aberdeen? Let me tell you, don't be fooled by his media presence because John McGlynn,
is that right?
John McGlynn does not mince his words, Tom.
Right, really? Okay.
A really nice man, a brilliant guy, and he would deserve, with all due respect to Falkirk, he would deserve a bigger job like Aberdeen for what he's done. Manager of the year last year as well, and who's to say he's not going to get it again this year?
Looks like a goal at Camelin Juniors, Tony, doesn't it?
I think that's Camelin scored, 2-1 up. Or is that Elgin scored?
Oh, it's Elgin. It's a goal for Elgin. I beg your pardon. So Elgin 2-1 up at Camelin Juniors. It looks like it might be Kane Hester again. We'll get some confirmation on that, but
Dundee have got their third free kick right on the edge of the box, so they've got yet another one. It looks like Danda's pulled rank and is going to have a second stab at it, but it's just been incessant Dundee pressure in the second half as well. It's just that final bit. Again, I'm repeating myself, but it's factual that the wingers are doing so well until the final bit, but they've got themselves a free kick here in a really good position. Let's see if they can make any more of it than they have done the last two.
There seems to be a thing about goalkeepers getting injured today. The Ayr United goalkeeper Liam Russell, the ball's up the other end. Lucy's just had a shot wider of the target and he's just sat down. The ball is 100 yards from him.
And people might look at John McGlynn and say, well, does he have enough presence, etc., to manage in Aberdeen? Let me tell you, don't be fooled by his media presence because John McGlynn, John McGlynn does not mince his words.
The ball is 100 yards from him. So he's getting treatment now. It looks like it could be a hamstring or a knee from where I am, but again, goalie's down again.
On target this time, Andy, but straight down the throat of Kel Roos. Easy save, still 1-0 Kilmarnock.
Airdrieonians have retaken the lead. Arbroath had hit back through a Riley goal, but Ewan Henderson has struck from the penalty spot. His 14th goal of the season to give Airdrie the lead once again. They lead Arbroath by 2-1. Just confirmation of that goal for Elgin City, and it was indeed Kane Hester again. So Camelon Juniors with work to do to continue their Scottish Cup journey.
Great save there, lad. Great save by Trevor Carson, who Tony knows really well. I mean, Maswinissi's got the strike brilliant. I think it took a slight deflection.
It did.
And Carson's got down low to his right. I mean, I thought it was a goal. Brilliant
save. Really reflex exactly what Trevor's really good at. But you're right, it did take a nick through as well, which makes the save even better.
Congreve just fired one wide for Dundee as well. It was a really good break. David Watson felt he was filled in the middle of the pitch. I'm not so sure. I think he went down too easily. The ball found its way to Congreve. He cut inside, and I thought it was going to sneak in the bottom corner just wide. It is waves of attack here for Dundee.
Chick Young, how are things looking at Almond Vale, Livingston v St Mirren?
I was just wondering if you want to send me a pizza or a Chinese, because I'm going to be here for the duration, I think, tonight. I think Livingston have become the better team in the second half, getting forward, more inventive, moving the ball quicker. There is a weirdness about St Mirren, actually, and devoid of ideas. The front players haven't really got themselves into it. They're getting round the outsides at times, as I said in the first half. But no clear-cut opportunities have been created. It's still 1-1. Might have an Indian, actually.
Look at this foul in the Kilmarnock Dundee game. Dundee's captain, Ethan Hamilton, runs forward, and I mean, John Jules nearly takes his shots and his shot off. He just literally grabs him and tries to take the clothes off his back. One of the most cynical fouls you'll see.
Yes, I see what you mean, Rory. Well described. Yeah.
Cynical is the word.
It could have been an embarrassing moment there. The old shorts might have come off entirely.
It's a goal at Fir Park.
Who for, Ian?
It's for Motherwell.
And is that?
Yeah, sorry, again, no.
Stanatolopoulos, is it?
No, I didn't know whether you could hear me or not.
Oh, we can hear you fine, carry on.
Motherwell 1, Ross County 0. No, I'm pretty sure it's Maswinisi. There was a strike from the edge of the box, probably from Callum. I think it was Callum Slattery, and Maswinisi just get the last touch in front of Trevor Carson, gave Carson no chance. It's been coming. They made a couple of changes, bringing Fadiger and Eustace, two of the regular players on. It's been coming without them cutting them open, and it was straight from distance. As I say, Maswinisi's there to get the deflection into the net. So it's Motherwell 1, Ross County 0.
What a season Tawanda Maswinisi's having, Tom.
Matt O'Neill was jumping up and down when he scored there.
He's he's what is he, 20? He's 23 years of age. He scored in his last 3 games, one of them being in the AFCON against South Africa. I just think he's a terrific player. He's a constant menace. And we're talking about John McGlynn improving players. Jens Bertolaska, who's improved an awful lot of players. That's the reason why Motherwell are the way they are. He signed a few, he signed well, but he's dramatically improved a lot of the ones that he inherited, and Maswinisi is right up there. That's a big goal. It's actually 4 games in a row he scored.
And also, John, I think the very fact they can, I'm not trying to get him away from Motherwell, because it's great seeing Motherwell doing so well, but he plays off the right as well as through the middle as well, which is something that I would imagine it's some of the positions that Celtic are certainly looking for.
I was going to say that, Collie. I've seen him playing the 3 positions in a front 3 and even through the middle. Yeah, he played against us.
He is lightning quick.
He's paces, but he's got good awareness, good ability, and I think he can play either of those positions up in the front 3.
Is he better than anything that Celtic have on that side of the pitch? I would say yes.
I think it's the level of expectation that can harm players at times. There's a different feel to it. So Maswinisi could very easily go to Celtic. I think you could argue he's got more ability than some of them, but it's whether he can handle, and you don't know that sometimes until they actually go there and sign,
In terms of excuse me, in terms of pure ability, the pace, goal power, assists, all of that stuff, he's really doing it.
Yang, that's at this moment in time, that's for sure. Even though Yang's doing fine at the moment, I still think Tawanda Maswinisi's got more to offer.
Kelty Hearts have levelled things up at Cove Rangers. Where's that chance?
Yeah, a chance for Livingston, actually. That was a wee bit of an injury, actually, in the way game. Livingston have definitely been sharper in this game, and St Mirren have actually just made a change. They've brought on Lundulu got up front to replace Ocean Smith. Seeing what that, there's an injury going down in that chance. It was a chance up front for. It was big Robbie Muirhead actually got into the header, but it was right in the goalkeeper's hands. But some other defenders going down in the wake of all that. Another more treatment, Andy, but it's still a 1 each at Almond Vale.
Yeah, looked a good chance that check for Muirhead, and I think Marcus Fraser's, he's not a player that would go down light. I think he's put a sore one there, and a really experienced, good player for Stephen Robinson. Be interesting to see what they do. If that's the thing about Motherwell, that's the one I was surprised they left out McGinn today. Because McGinn for me is a fantastic player, brilliant tight,
Tony, isn't he?
And very underrated. And I think he's a top player. And I was surprised that they left it. Obviously, you know, the managers, you know, he makes that decision. But out of them all, I think he's probably the most influential at Motherwell.
I agree. I was surprised. I think he's I'm not sure he's a top class player, but he's a very, very good player. He's certainly top class for Motherwell.
Yeah.
But he is the organiser. Whenever I've watched him, he seems to organise around him, and he does really, really well at that. And I was surprised he wasn't playing.
There's a game in League One today. Hamilton Accies have taken the lead at Peterhead. They lead by 2-1. And Tom, what is going on at that club? I mean, it seems to be changing by the day. None of it seems to be good news, but fair play to the players on the pitch. They're still doing a job.
They are. I think we've no idea. I mean, you try and read up on it. You try and speak to people, speak to the league, speak to other people involved. And it's the story. The thing about it is the story changes so quickly. It's hard to keep abreast of everything that's going on at that club. But the one thing that's unchanging is the stress on these players and the management team. That doesn't go away. That's been around for a long time. So for them to be putting one foot in front of the other on a pitch right now is impressive, and for the winning matches, there's no guarantees with that club anymore. You just don't know what's going on.
I mean, if you and I, football writers, if you sat down and tried to write the story of Hamilton Accies, and everyone's going to add a chat. Scott Struthers, of course, who knows the club inside out, is doing work here at Livingston. A long chat with him, and you could begin to follow and unravel what has happened there, and every time he tells you something else, you go into, well, wait a minute, how did that come to pass? I hope I'm horribly wrong, but I don't think that the long-term lifespan of Hamilton Accies is optimistic about it at all.
No, I agree. You'd have to be fearful, and you could write the story, Chick, but you'd end up in court. You know what I mean? Because there's so much stuff in there that you couldn't write. Stuff that I've heard would make my hair stand on edge.
Yeah.
And you just can't go near that.
Surely United have to take the lead. Fata, great save. Good save. Sybil through to Fata. Wonderful save. Really good save by Liam Russell.
Looks like another goal for Stenhousemuir. They go 3-0 up on Greenock Morton. We'll get confirmation of that scorer for you, but Stenny, the League One leaders, doing a job on Morton. What a day for them so far. What a season they're having at Stenny. And they look like they are heading for the 5th round. One game in League 2 today. Stirling Albion 0, East Kilbride 2. East Kilbride with a chance to cut Spartans' lead at the top of the table to 5 points. So big opportunity for them, and they appear to be taking it right now. And let's head back to Chris Doolan at Partick Thistle. They were leading last time we spoke to you, Chris. What's the latest?
They've just had another chance there, Andy Fitzpatrick. I think what you're starting to see for Thistle is the pace they have on the counter. As soon as they turn the ball over, and they've got real willing runners. Logan Chalmers, Fitzpatrick, Samuel Sosa. They've got a lot of legs going into the box, and Fitzpatrick's just broke away a minute ago there, or 5 seconds ago there, and cut in off the left hand side, and it's been well saved. But as the second half starts to wear on, I think Montrose start to feel it a wee bit in terms of the pace and the power at the top end of the pitch for Thistle. They're still in around their box just now. They're trying to almost just defend the box as a full team just now, but Thistle really turning the screw a wee bit to try and get that third.
Yeah, goals in either half from Tony Watt as Thistle 2-0 to the good against Montrose. Let's head to Rugby Park, Rory, and you've said Dundee have really been pushing but not been able to find that equaliser. Are they any closer?
No, the Kilmarnock fans are not happy. That's the booing you can hear in the background with the referee Colin Stephen. He's let a lot go. He's probably got most of them right, to be fair. I've quite enjoyed the fact that he's not just blown up every time a player falls over, but there have been a couple that did look like fouls, one there, for example. But just before that, Watson broke up the pitch, and Kilmarnock had their only opportunity in the second half. It fell to Dakars. Good strike low, but easily saved in the end by John McCracken, who pushed it away. Now, there's certain players in the league that you hang your hat on to be 6, 7 out of 10 every week, that managers pick every week. I would put Lewis Mayo in that category, but he simply cannot handle Tony Ugani. He gets the ball, he knocks it past him, and he gets a ball in the box pretty much every time. He's not doing a lot wrong, Lewis Mayo, he just can't handle his pace. And he's had another effort there, Ugani, which was saved. Dundee are good value for at least being on level terms, but they just can't seem to find the back of the net at this moment in time. And you have to say, Kilmarnock, the few times they have been up the pitch, have looked more like scoring than Dundee. It's just that Dundee are outplaying them for large portions of the game, so it's still 1-0 to Kilmarnock.
Rory, that's really surprising, because Lewis Mayo, I think Doc will agree with me that, you know, in isolation he's a really good defender. He's got really good pace to get into the wider areas. Surprised he's getting done for paces easily.
Yeah, good 1v1 defender. When I've worked with him, you know, and pacey, you know, so it just shows you the quality that Ugan's got.
He's so quick over 5 yards, Ugan.
How many subs are Dundee United bringing on?
They put 4 on.
4 on at once.
4, yeah.
4 at once.
Wow.
Manager's clearly not happy. Changing almost half your outfield.
Just seems like a game that struggled to get going, Alan.
It has, it's honestly, but I've got to say the crowd as well. There's nothing inspiring the crowd. On either side, you've got a drum going in the United end, but that's about it. The Dundee United fans are just waiting for something to happen, and it's not happening.
It might be biscuits. It might be because the last two, you know, the game I was at the Derby and they were really poor, I thought, and against Celtic. I mean, I know that's a really tough one with Martin's first game back, but there was like 11 players almost in their own box or 25 yards from their own goal. I mean, I know you've got to try and keep yourself in the game, but it was very negative that day.
Alan, are you beginning to make alternative arrangements for Tynecastle?
Second half. Second half, Tom.
Chick Young, how's things looking in Almondvale? It strikes me that two teams that are so desperate for a win, it might start getting a bit nervy, poised at 1-1.
I think I'll start with Pecora.
Would either swap Chick a place in the next round for 3 points?
I think, Alan, I think I just said that before the kick-off. I'm sure they would. I think more value to them, both sides, I have to say, you know, but it just doesn't. There's something weary about St Mirren. You know, they've lost their sharpness that they were showing probably before that League Cup win. And Libby, to me, look, if someone's going to score this goal before we get extra time, then it looks to me more like to be Libby. They're getting forward, they're moving at more pace than St Mirren. There's only been one change from Stevie Robinson. Just something about St Mirren. They just look like a weary team. It's back 5 stretched across here, and you just feel that Robbie Muirhead could snatch something for Livingston. It's 1-1 at the moment, but there's more about Libby at the moment.
Yeah, two teams absolutely desperate for a victory in that one, currently poised at 1-1. Earlier today, Dunfermline Athletic beat Hibs 1-0, and in the 3 o'clock kickoffs, Airdrieonians 2-1 up against Arbroath. Camelon Juniors 1, Elgin City 2, Dundee United 0-0 with Ayr United, Kelty Hearts 1, Cove Rangers 1, Kelly 1, Dundee 0, Livingston 1, St Mirren 1, Motherwell 1, Ross County 0.
It's the equaliser, the well-deserved equaliser, I have to say, and it's Ashley Hay, and he takes it really well. The ball runs through to him in the box, he takes a touch, and he absolutely smashes it into the back of the net. There's Ashley Hay, really good strike, and deservedly back on terms. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 1.
Well, they have been threatening Dundee. They have had a lot of chances, but they have got their goal.
We've had a red card at Firhill as well.
Welcome
Andy.
to viewers who have joined us now on BBC One Scotland. Open All makes a busy afternoon of Scottish Cup 4th round action. The goals have been going in up and down the country. We've got reporters around the grounds, and let's head to Tannadice and Dundee United versus Ayr United. Alan Preston, what's the latest there?
Yeah, goals up and down the country, but unfortunately none here, Andy, at Tannadice. It's 0-0, and that's probably about right. It's not been that many chances. Dundee United have made 4 changes in the second half to try and win this game. Ayr United's very much in it, but still 0-0 here at Tannadice.
Well, we have had goals at Rugby Park. Rory Loy is watching Kilmarnock versus Dundee. Rory, what's the latest?
The latest is one apiece. Dundee have just equalised through Ashley Hay. However, I'll talk you through the opener first. It came on 11 minutes, and it was David Watson who pinged a corner out, which was a well-worked corner. Dominic Thompson arrived late on the edge of the box and hit an absolute perler with his left foot in off one post, clipped the other, and into the back of the net for 1-0 Kilmarnock. Dundee had several chances throughout that first half. After that, Ashley Hay had a couple, as did Ugan, but they couldn't capitalise on them, and it remained 1-0 until the second half, where Ashley Hay has just smacked one in from about 8 or 9 yards out, flew past Kelroos. He had no chance, and that's why it's currently Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 1.
Well, two teams who could really be doing with a victory this afternoon. Livingston and St Mirren are in action at Almond Vale, and Chick Young can bring us the latest.
Yeah, there's just been a standing ovation, a round of thunderous applause, but not for a goal. It's because Scott Arfield, who made his goal-scoring debut for Livingston this afternoon, has just been subbed. Stevie May's come on to replace him as Livingston try and get ahead in this game. It is 1-1. Remember, the goals came in the first half early on. Of course, Roland Deduo early on in the game, 3 minutes on the clock, and just a tap in from great work down the right side by Richardson, and then that man himself, Scott Arfield, with the equaliser after just 11 minutes. All the action early on, and the game has basically gone to sleep in the wake of all that. There's a lot of huffing and puffing. St Mirren, they look a weary sight now. Changes beginning to be made, as I said. Arfield's come on. Stevie Robinson's only made one so far. Lundulu came on to replace Ocean Smith. Another chance for Livingston there, just over the crossbar. It remains 1-1.
Motherwell are up against Ross County at Fir Park. Ian McCall is watching this one.
Yeah, and it's Motherwell 1, Ross County 0. It was a very nondescript first half. Ross County very well organised. There was one chance, Maswanise 1-1, beat Carson up in the Ross County goal really well, but Iacovete, fantastic clearance. They made a couple of changes. Fadiger and Hughes came on for Motherwell after about 55 minutes. Whether they're regulars, I don't know, but they, because they seem to have about 18 regulars. But anyway, 5 minutes after that, they got their goal. It was a slattery strike from about 20 yards. Maswanise, I think he meant it. I think he meant to deflect it past Trevor Carson. Trevor Carson had no chance. There's been a few subs since then, but Motherwell, I'd hate to see what the possession stat is. It must be over 70%. They seem to be cruising, but while it's 1-0, you never know. So at Fir Park, Motherwell 1, Ross County 0.
Well, from Fir Park to Firhill, Partick Thistle up against Montrose, and Chris Doolan can bring us the latest.
And it's Partick Thistle 2, Montrose 0, and Tony Watt has been the difference so far in both sides in the game so far. He's been terrific. He scored in both halves. First half he gets a free header inside the 6-yard box after brilliant work from Patrick Redding down the left hand side. He clipped a fantastic ball in, and the box was very busy, and Tony Watt managed to make some space for himself, headers down well into the ground and gets them 1-0 up. Second half they've started really well again. 47 minutes, Tony Watt again inside the 6-yard box from a corner. Logan Chalmers whipped in a fantastic outswinging corner, and it lands 6 yards out. There's no Montrose players anywhere to be seen, and Tony Watt casually just knocks the ball into the back of the net to make it 2-0. Just in the last couple of minutes, Chalmers has actually just been sent off for Thistle for chasing back and making a last-ditch tackle. So the game is now on the balance a little bit. It looks like Thistle are going to change to a back three and try and shore things up if they can get their subs on. But 2-0 just now, but Montrose now with the greater amount of players on the pitch, and we can see if Thistle can see it out.
And it should have been a goal for Livy. Wonderful move down the right hand side. And Stevie May, who's the sub, put through. He's onto it. He's 1-1 with the goalkeeper, but Shamal George just stretches himself out, gets a leg in it, and puts it past for a corner kick, which has been taken has come to nothing at the moment. So a real chance for Livy go ahead. Remains 1-1.
Well, Tom English and Tony Docherty are alongside me in the studio. Tony, that game we spoke pre-match, how much riding on it. Livingston, St Mirren, they're locked. It's tight as we probably thought it would, and it looks like it might get a bit nervy towards the end there.
I think all the games we've now at this stage, we've got 5 games that are level at the moment, and getting into the last 12 minutes a cup tie, that's the most important time, and I think you'll see the tempo of all the games going up. Make sure, as I say, when you're in cup competition, you're either in or you're out, and these teams, the 10 teams that are involved in those ties, I've got 12 minutes to make sure they're still in the cup. And watching the Livingston St Mirren game coming in at the moment, it looks like, you know, it's all or nothing now. You need to go for it. You need to make sure you get yourself in the hat for the next round, and it's the next 10 minutes will be good.
Yeah, and it's a big 10 minutes or so, Tom, not only in the course of this cup tie, but for both Livy and St Mirren. Two teams are desperate for a win right now. They meet again in the league on Tuesday. I mean, there is a lot riding on this.
Yeah, and it's entirely kind of fitting in the way they've been going that they're drawing, because neither of them can win a game of late. And certainly if Livy goes back a lot longer than that, 20 games without a win, they're going to have to be a winner at some stage. But if this tie goes to penalties, it's not the surprise of the season, is it?
No, not at all. Well, Camelon Juniors have been one of the stories of the Scottish Cup so far. The East of Scotland Premier Division side, but their journey looks like it's going to be coming to an end. A Williamson own goal means they currently trail Elgin City by 3-1. Elsewhere, Airdrieonians are 2-1 up against Arbroath. What a result that would be. We heard from Alan Preston. Dundee United 0, Ayr United 0. Kelty Hearts 1, Cove Rangers 1. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 1, Livingston 1, St Mirren 1, Motherwell 1, Ross County 0, Partick Thistle 2, Montrose 0, Spartans 0, Inverness 0, Stenhousemuir 3, Greenock Morton 0, and in League 1 Peterhead 1, Hamilton Accies 2, and in League 2 Stirling Albion 0, East Kilbride 2. All those games with around 10 minutes or so left to run, and Motherwell got their goal, Tony, and we think in this season of all seasons, this bonkers Scottish football season, you could put money on just about anyone winning the Scottish Cup, but Motherwell would be a team you would be looking at if they can get through this.
Yeah, I think they'll be looking to progress, and I think a lot of the bigger teams will be looking at what happened today with Hibs. You know, that's one of the potential teams that could go the full way, so that gives extra motivation. So if they were to get through this tie, Motherwell, it would certainly set them up for that next round.
Yeah, well, the big shock of the day came first up in the day, Tom, didn't it? Dunfermline Athletic 1-0 winners against Hibernian. What a day for Neil Lennon and his team. A Miguel Chaiwa own goal 2 minutes into stoppage time prompted scenes of unbridled joy at East End Park, at least amongst the home end. But what a day for the Pars.
Incredible day for them, incredible day for Neil Lennon. We spoke earlier about the awful loss of his father recently. He's now at this incredible high. I'm sure he will dedicate this to his father, who was a massive influence on his football career and his life. And Neil Lennon, he was obviously overjoyed at the end. They were in that game. This wasn't a smash and grab. This was 50-50. This was nip and tuck the whole way through. And Kieran Bowie had a great chance, missed it. The goal was a messy affair, but it doesn't matter. And they're through. And it's just a momentous day for them, really.
Dundee United have scored, and it's a substitute. Mola, good play on the right hand side by Strain. He gets to the byline, he's strong, knocks it across, and there's Mola. One of the changes from Jim Goodwin from about 4 or 5 yards out, side foot into the back of the net. Dundee United 1, Ayr United 0.
Yes, Dundee United hit the front. It's not been a chance-laden game, but Dundee United getting themselves in front. Jim Goodwin's changes, as Alan made, starting to make an impact, and that is a big goal for them, Tom.
It is, yeah. I mean, Ayr were my tip if I was trying to find an upset. That was the one that I picked out. They've been holding out for a long time. I know it's been heavy traffic for Dundee United. They've been not peppering Ayr's goal, but they've certainly been dominating possession. And they deserved that goal, in fairness to them.
Just to be clear, my tip, Tom, was Stenhousemuir the day. They were winning 3-0.
Yeah, but is that an upset, really, Tony? Is that a kind of soft way out?
Possibly. I was going to ask Biscuits, it's a good finish by the boy Miller, but how's the impact? I like Stirton. I think he's a really good young Scottish striker.
He has. Yeah, he's done very well. He's a big lad.
Yeah,
well.
Anytime I've seen him, he did fantastically well on loan at Montrose, but anytime I've seen him, I'm really, really impressed with him. And I see with Jim bringing on those 4 subs, that has he made that impact, and does he play well with the boy Mola?
Yeah, he does, certainly. I think he's got a good partnership. Mola is a big lad that Stirling looks the mobile one at the two of them. Looks as if he can shift. But it's a really good
card here, and it's for Kilmarnock, and it's for Jack Thompson. And once again, it's Ugani who takes the ball in really well. He turns loose Mayo, and Jack Thompson decides to bring him down, which is silly on a yellow card. It was needless. Ugani did well, but he wasn't really going anywhere. and Kilmarnock pay the price, and they're down to 10 men with 10 minutes left as it hangs in the balance at 1 apiece.
Yeah, it hangs in the balance, and Neil McCannell with his head in his hands. That is a big blow. They've been under the cosh, they've weathered the storm pretty well, but Dundee got the equaliser they deserved, and now Kelly are going to have to hold on with 10 men.
I mean, the way Rory's been describing it, and we can see it in the pictures here, Dundee have really deserved to be levelled. They've been piling the pressure on. Now Killie have caved with this second yellow card, and all the momentum has been with Dundee, Rory, from a long time, right?
Yeah, the one thing I would say is the rare occasion that Kilmarnock do go forward, they've had opportunities to score and they've forced a couple of saves. You can't say the same about Dundee. Whilst they've had incessant pressure for large periods of the match, you know, they've not created chance after chance. So Kilmarnock do look dangerous on the counter, but just as you were saying, Tom, the main control in the game has been dominated by Dundee, and they deserve to be level, and it wouldn't surprise me if they go on to win it now.
Tony the tipster Docherty, Stenhousemuir 4, Greenock Morton 0. What a shout that was.
It's result of the day. That fiver, I'll take that fiver, Tom. But
well deserved.
Chris Doolan.
Last wee ditch of the game, they're throwing a ball into the box. Clark, in goals for Thistle, comes for it. He maybe comes 7-8 yards out. He's probably always second best to get there. I think the Thistle players think he's possibly been... I'm looking at him thinking he's maybe been jumped into it. I don't think it was. It lands, I think it's Loudon 10 yards out, and he just fires it into the empty net. 2-1 with 10 men for Partick Thistle for the last few minutes.
Yeah, a wee bit nervy at Firhill now. And how are things at Fir Park? Ian McCall, Motherwell leading by a goal to 0. Are they looking comfortable?
Well, they were. I didn't want to interrupt duels in full flow there, but they've just had Matty Connolly's he's not had a lot to do, great with the ball at his feet, but he's just had to make a terrific save from the sub Kieran Phillips for Ross County, who's had a strike from inside the box. I'm right in line with it. Looks like it's going right in the top corner. They've got a corner now, and Matty Connolly got across and just got a touch to it, so that's been their chance to get back into the game. Motherwell have been totally dominant in the second half, but that was a chance to get it to level terms. Still 1-0 to the home side.
I think the big thing for Motherwell in January, Tony, is just keeping hold of their players, because Jens Bertolaska is building something really special here. You want to keep those key guys till the summer at least.
Sometimes that's what a January window's all about, just coming through it unscathed, particularly when the team's in good form. And yeah, I think so if he manages to hold on to the talented players that he's got, then I think he'll be a happy man.
Airdrie 2, Arbroath 2. What a game that is. Airdrie were leading 1-0 and then 2-1, but Arbroath have scored through Beadling on the 84th minute, so they have managed to rescue themselves. It would seem Kelty Hearts 1-0 with Cove Rangers. Spartans still 0-0 with Inverness. Cally Thistle, Stenhousemuir 4-0 against Greenock Morton. Was there a chance there?
Yeah, it's Charlie Riley. It's the second time he's done it in a matter of minutes. This one came closer. It was a diving block by Dominic Thompson. He's cut inside. What Dundee... The problem Kilmarnock have got is Dundee have used the width of the pitch all day long really, really well, but if you're down to 10 men and you're having to cover the wider areas, Dundee has stretched the game really well, and that's even more difficult to defend against when you're down to 10 men. Oh, it's a chance, it's cleared. Bruce Anderson's coming on for Kilmarnock, which is a bit of a... It's not a substitution you would expect to see, one each down to 10 men, bringing a striker on, but he's going to do it, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. And Simon Murray looks like he's stripped and ready to come on as well, so still one each, but Dundee, all the ball, all the opportunities in the last 5-6 minutes.
We spoke about how big a last 10 minutes it is in Almonvale. It's no less huge for Kilmarnock given the way they're going this season, Tom.
It's enormous. I mean, Kilmarnock are having an atrocious season. They replaced the management team. They're going to be, till the end, they're going to be in a grim battle against the drop, right? They know that. Their respite is the Scottish Cup, and they need to make the most of it, and these last few minutes, there's a chance there. Last few minutes, they're vital to add a bit of glamour, potential glamour, to what is going to be a grisly battle against the drop.
That's a claim. Someone claiming for a penalty kick here. It's an unbelievable situation. Big. It's Lundulu who's through, and his legs held back by the goalkeeper. The ball agonisingly looks as if it's going to go in the corner. Runs past the post. Someone claiming for a penalty. It's the far end of the ground. I'm not I want to be totally neutral in this situation, but I think it should have been a penalty.
Is it no you claiming for the penalty?
Montrose down to 10 men as well here, Andy, now 10 apiece. Terry Masson came on as a sub. He's had 2 yellow cards and he's back off for a tackle on Stanway. So both teams down to 10 men for the last, whatever it be, minute or 2 of this added time.
One game in League One, Peterhead have levelled things up against Hamilton Accies, 2-2 there, and in League 2, East Kilbride leading Stirling Albion by 2-1 in the closing stages. And that one, Alan Preston, Dundee United did get their goal. Are they looking good to close that one out against Ayr United?
All credit to Ayr. They've brought on strikers, Scott Brown, and they're pushing forward. They've just had a corner cleared. They're back in Dundee United into their own 18-yard box. They're throwing everything they can at it. It's been a very tight game. It's been a really good finish by Moller for the goal. But that's been very, very close. Ayr United have played well. They've defended well, had a really good shape about them, worked hard. Scott Brown can't fault his side, but that bit of class for Moller is a difference with a few minutes to go.
And Chick Young, an immediate impact at Livingston for Scott Arfield, notching that equaliser earlier.
Yeah, it was, it kind of evaporated from the game in the wake of that, but it was early on. We thought we were off to a flyer, thought we were a cracker of a football match. I remember Saints ahead after 3 minutes, a duo, and then Scott Arfield just 8 minutes later made it 1-1. I thought this is going to be a cracker, but it's fainted a bit as a football match. I have to say, St Mirren in these last few minutes are beginning to up the tempo a little bit. They've created a couple of opportunities. There was that penalty claim, the ball just trickled past the post, and now they're trying to get a bit of impetus into the game. They've now got a free kick actually, which will load the area as we push towards the final few minutes. Still 1-1, and I said a long time ago, Andy, this has got the feeling of extra time and penalties all over it. And you know what will happen? You know what will happen, of course? It'll go into extra time, somebody will score in the first minute.
It is amazing how often that happens, isn't it?
Well, I hope for your sake, Chick, that it does. Because, I mean, you want to get down the road early.
Oh, it's my time of life. It's quite late.
The electric blanket's on the timer.
Absolutely. Well, we are heading towards the closing stages in the 3 o'clock kickoffs, but we are looking like we might be heading for extra time. Certainly at Rugby Park, Rory Loy, Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 1, Killie down to 10 men. Any sense of Dundee finding that winner that perhaps their play has deserved?
Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out, that's for sure. They've now went...
Oh, Partick Thistle, Andy.
On you go, Chris.
3-1, Rico Diak. Young lad just came on 5-10 minutes ago. He's a big, powerful striker. He's 6'1". He's mobile. And as much as Montrose get back into the game, they have to commit bodies forward, and they've thrown everything forward. And then on the counter side of that, Turner picks up the ball, slides in Rico Diak, and he runs a good 35-40 yards and knocks it low in at the near post. A fantastic finish with his right foot. 3-1 Partick Thistle.
So the shocks are Dunfermline and Steny, is that it?
Yeah,
at the moment.
Yeah.
At the moment, yeah.
Can I just say how lovely it has been today without VAR? No endless minutes analysing lines or handballs, just football.
It is refreshing.
It's lovely.
It is refreshing, yeah, to see that. And also the whole thing about the cup tie, see the bravery of the managers at the moment, the amount of managers they're just throwing on strikers. There's Bruce Anderson going off Kilmarnock, Simon Murray going on taking the armband for Dundee, and so that, yeah, you're right, Tom, saying that VAR
changed,
and
Tony, Stephen Presley's went 4-4-2. I wondered when I expected to see Hay come off, but he brought Murray on, and I thought, is he going to play him right at the 3? I wouldn't have thought so. So he's went 4-4-2, and they're having a right go now. The 2 wider players are going holding their width. Charlie Riley on one side.
Full time at Fir Park. Motherwell 1, Ross County 0.
So full time at Firhill, Partick Thistle 3, Montrose 1.
So both teams are going for it, but Dundee are now set up in a 4-4-2, but they've got all the ball, all the control. It's just whether they can find a winner.
yeah, and it's brave. It is, goes back to that. You're either in the cup or you're out the cup, so go and be brave.
So Motherwell booked their place in the 5th round, a 1-0 victory over Ross County. We'll get Ian McCall's full-time report shortly. And Partick Thistle, slight scare at the end there, but they got that 3rd goal to ease the nerves, and they booked their place in the 5th round. Also, they had a very good run in the League Cup, did Partick Thistle, got to the quarter-finals and then were beaten by Celtic. But a very good run. They're going along nicely in the Championship, 2nd in the table under Mark Wilson, and now into the 5th round of the Scottish Cup. Still plenty of games ongoing. We just heard from Rory about Kilmarnock and Dundee, and I wonder, Rory, what you've seen in terms of the evolution.
United could finish it here, and they have done. They're in the next round. That's a brilliant finish. Fata to Trapanovsky, back to Fata, and it's side foot into the back of the net. This game's now done. Dundee United 2, Ayr United 0. Brilliant finish.
Dundee United have been made to work for it, but they too will be in the 5th round draw tomorrow, which will take place after tomorrow's fixtures.
Kamara scored the goal.
Fata, sorry, it's Kamara.
Kamara with the second for Jim Goodwin's side. So 2-0 Dundee United over Ayr United at Tannadice. That one is just about finished, but Dundee United, that should kill off that.
Great finish, that.
Very nice. First time finish.
That finishes Tom's career as a tipster, that one.
Well, it never really started, let's be honest, Tony. I mean, yes, Berkey could tell you all about my hapless tipping days.
Yeah, he's the prophet of doom. If he backs your team, then forget all about it. But no, just for anyone that missed that, Tom did back Ayr United today.
Dundee have scored. It's a disaster for Kilmarnock.
Oh, wow.
Riley pings one up in the air. It's got snow on it. It's coming down. Kel Roos has got to claim it. The defender jumps with Kel Roos. It's Robbie Dees, the experienced Robbie Dees. They clatter into each other and it drops to a Dundee player and he pops it in the back of the net. You'll need to help me out with who it was.
I so want to see a replay of that.
Oh, it was an absolute disaster because Riley is cursing himself for the quality of the cross and it falls down and Roos batters into Dees. No communication at all, and it's a goal.
Oh, that's such a gift.
Oh my goodness me, you're not wrong, Tom.
What is going on there?
Yeah.
Tony, talk us through that.
Was it Dre Wright that popped in?
Dre Wright scores the goal, but it looks like Kel Roos is coming out, whether he's put his name on it, but it looks a comfortable take for the goalkeeper, and there's no communication between him and Robbie Dees, and it just lands to Dre Wright and he manages to put it in.
That's it, we're heading to extra time, and it's the Almond Vale has finished 1-1 twixt Livingston.
Imagine, I mean, I know it's still a few minutes to play. Imagine going out of the cup on that.
To be honest, Tom, I do agree with you. Dundee deserve to go through. The amount of amount of things they've missed, but looking back, give yourself a chance. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a present, a total gift. Shocking.
Tony Dodd, that is the kind of thing that must drive a manager crazy.
There's nothing you can do about that. You know, it's down to on-pitch decision making, and I don't. It's obviously a communication thing between Roos. Maybe because he's just new in the door. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe making excuses, but between him and Robbie Dees, they've got to see that off.
Yeah, and goalkeeping has been a problem this season for Kilmarnock, Rory. Obviously injuries have played their part in that, but they've chopped and changed a wee bit, and that's not a great start for the new man, is it?
Well, it might be a bit of a might make up for it here, Roos, because Kilmarnock have got a corner and he's in the mix-up, he's in the box and he's a big lad, so we'll see what Dominic Thompson can do in terms of his delivery. It's too high, I think. It goes to the back post, comes back across and towards Roos. Oh, they've cleared it. Simon Murray could outdo Mackenzie for pace here. He makes the right decision. Oh, he's played it to Jan Danda, and I think he's been brought down. So it's a foul, and it looks like could be a straight red card for Lewis Mayo. So they're down to 9 men, Kilmarnock now. 9 men after Roos gets caught up the pitch. Lewis Mayo drags him down. Jan Danda, they're down to 9. Disaster, 2-1 Dundee, and it looks like it's going to finish that way.
And a couple of minutes of utter madness.
Yeah. This is what I said to you, getting into the last 10 minutes of cup competition. This is when people are brave, people make mistakes, and that's exactly what you're seeing here. Seems like Kilmarnock have almost imploded in this situation. I don't know if
they gave him a straight red though, because it was difficult to see whether he flashed the yellow first and the red, but it's a very, very harsh straight red card. I don't think Danda, although there's no goalie and he's going away from goal to the side of the pitch, he's trying to check back, he's not going for goal. But I'm not 100% sure whether it was a straight red or not. We've got a pole right in front of it.
Right, we'll get back to you very shortly, Rory. Let's quickly get a full-time report from Camelon Juniors and Elgin City from Michael Steele.
Thank you very much, Andy. Well, it's finished here. Elgin City 3, Camelon Juniors 1. The 6th tier side of Scottish football, Camelon Juniors, had hope at half-time thanks to that equaliser from Jordan Kilpatrick, and they started the second half very, very well. However, they couldn't quite convert any of the chances into goals, and they were struck on the counter-attack. A set piece it was from Elgin City.
Kilmarnock 1,
and then
Dundee 2.
And then after that, Kane Hester scored his second of the match, his 9th goal of the season, and then after that Elgin City got their third. A mix up at the back from goalkeeper for Camelon Juniors Dean Shaw, and it ended up being Mark Gallagher scoring the third goal for the Highlanders. Disappointment here. One of the great stories of the Scottish Cup this season has come to an end. Camelon Juniors, first time in the 4th round of the Scottish Cup. They won't be progressing, but Elgin City will be. League 2 side Elgin City have progressed to the 5th round. Camelon Juniors 1, Elgin City 3.
Yeah, Camelon Juniors' journey in the Scottish Cup is over, but what a journey it's been for them. They had already beaten League 2 side Edinburgh City to reach the 4th round and gave a great account of themselves, so well done to everyone at Camelon Juniors, but their journey comes to an end. Now we will go through the classified results. Still a few games going to extra time, of course, that we've heard about at Livingston in particular, and Spartans as well, but we will run through the scores just now.
Time at Tannadice. Dundee United into the 5th round, deserved one in the end, 2-0.
We kick things off today with Dunfermline Athletic versus Hibernian. Famous victory for the Pars. They won by 1-0, a stoppage time goal, own goal from Miguel Chawa, taking Neil Lennon's side through to the next round. Airdrieonians 2, Arbroath 2, that's heading for extra time. As we've just heard, Camelon Juniors have gone down 3-1 to Elgin City. Alan's just told us about the full time at Tannadice. Dundee United 2, Ayr United 1. They're still playing at Kelty Hearts. They're drawing 1-1 with Cove Rangers. In fact, that's into extra time, that match. We've just heard the full time whistle at Rugby Park. Dramatic end there. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 2. Chick's been keeping us up to date from Almondvale. Livingston 1, St Mirren won that one, heading for extra time. Motherwell were 1-0 winners over Ross County. Partick Thistle 3, Montrose 1, Spartans 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 0. That one is heading for extra time, and a fantastic day for Stenhouse Muir. 4-0 victors over Greenock Morton. Later this evening, Hearts will take on Falkirk in the final match of the Saturday lineup, and then tomorrow Aberdeen take on Raith Rovers, and Auchinleck Talbot are up against Celtic. So that is you up to date with the Scottish Cup. One match in League One today, and Hamilton Accies, plenty going on off the field there, but on the field they are going along all right today. They are leading 3-2, or they've won 3-2 away to Peterhead. So a big result there in League One for Hamilton Accies. And one game in League 2 which has ramifications at the top of the table. East Kilbride in second have cut the gap on Spartans at the top. They have won at Stirling Albion by 2-1. Right, let us get some full-time reports from around the grounds, and let's start at Tannadice. Alan Preston was watching on as Dundee United took on Ayr United. What was the story of that one, Alan?
Dundee United into the 5th round, Andy, with in the end a comfortable 2-0 win. The first half is a bit of a non-event, not many chances. Dow had a shot which Richard saves. Graham lobbed onto the top of the bar. 0-0 at half time. Into the second half, Harding had a shot, then Russo had a shot for Ayr United just wide as well. Fata had a really good effort, well saved by Russell, but the goal came in 77 minutes. Substitute Strain came on, and he got to the byline, and as he rolled the ball back to the 6-yard box, Muller got across the front of the defender and rolled it with his right foot into the back of the net. And then a minute from the end, another substitute, two substitutes actually, Trapanovsky and Kamara, they played a 1-2 on the break. They had a superior advantage with men at this point, and a wonderful finish by Kamara, opening up his right foot and passing it into the back of the net for 2-0. United deserve to go through, but Ayr United certainly made a game of it. Full-time score at Tannadice. Dundee United 2, Ayr United 0.
Right, dramatic end at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock versus Dundee. Rory Loy can bring us a story.
Yes, indeed, it was a breathless 95 minutes here at Rugby Park. However, make no mistake about it, the best team on the day won, and that was Dundee. They came out flying after 4 minutes. They showed their signs of intent, and it was Yogan who was the best player on the pitch, in my opinion, all day. There was some good performers, but he was the standout. He had won blocked on the line. He had a header off the bar, and on 11 minutes the first real bit of quality in the match came from Dom Thompson as David Watson clipped one, or pinged one should I say, right across from a corner, and Dom Thompson met it flush on the volley, clipped both posts before heading into the net for 1-0. Kilmarnock slightly unfair in Dundee at that point, but they went on to miss more opportunities in that first half through Hay and Astley as well. Into the second half, and Hay hit the bar on 48 minutes. I could run through Dundee's chances in the second half, it would take me all night I think, but Danda Congreve, Ashley Hay, all had chances. Tiffany had one up the other end, as did Marcus Dackers, both forced saves from the goalkeeper. But on 68 minutes, Ashley Hay, he found his space in the box, he took a touch and he smashed it past Kelrus in the goals, who had absolutely no chance. One that he did have a chance with was in the 92nd minute, when Charlie Riley's cross wasn't caught well at all. It went way up in the air. I was even about to sit down because I thought Kelrus is coming to catch this. Robbie Dees decides to jump into him, no communication. It fell to Drew Wright. He tapped it into the back of the empty net for 2-1 Dundee, and all things said and done, after the dust has settled, you have to say Dundee deserved it. So it finished here at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee 2.
Right, they're still playing at Almondvale. They're into extra time. Livingston up against St Mirren. Chick Young can tell us a tale of that one so far.
Yeah, it's well into extra time. First period of extra time. Of course, it's 1-1 after the 90 minutes. Both the goals came early in the game. Idowu on the end of a Richardson cross. Quite straightforward finish for him. And Richardson getting down the right-hand side, playing it into the 6-yard box. It was Scott Arfield with his debut goal for Livingston, equalised only just 8 minutes later. 11 minutes the clock. We thought we were in for a thriller. It didn't turn out that way, but it's been a little bit lively. All sorts of substitutions now for both sides, as you might imagine. St Mirren getting forward, creating a couple of opportunities, but Livingston giving as good as they're getting, I have to say as well. It really could go either way. Just wonder if it's going to a goal to settle this, or will we be heading for penalties. It's still 1-1. We're in well into the first period of extra time, Andy.
Motherwell were up against Ross County. A return to Fir Park for Stuart Kettlewell. Ian McCall was watching on for us. How was that one for you, Ian?
Yeah, an unhappy return for Stuart. The home side 1-1-0. Yeah, listen, it was as expected. I think the first half was a bit of a non-event. Motherwell controlled the game, but their passing was a little bit too slow. The only real chance they had was Maswanisi went 1-on-1 with Trevor Carson, and he's beaten Trevor Carson all ends up. You're just waiting to see the net bulge. Iacoviti, the centre back from Ross County, come over, and I think it was a headed or a shoulder or certainly some part of his body that wasn't illegal. He managed to save it. Ross County were very compact, didn't really have many chances. The closest it came was a strike from distance from Lindsay, and Jay Henderson got on the follow-up. He was ruled offside. Really good double save though from Matty Connolly in the Motherwell goal, who wasn't to know that. I thought the game changed in the second half when Elijah just came on. I thought they became, for Motherwell, they became a wee bit more creative, and about 5 minutes later on the hour mark they got their goal. Callum Slattery broke forward, had a strike from about 20 yards, and Maswanisi, I haven't seen it back to my mind, he meant to get the touch on it, and he's knocked it by Trevor Carson in the Ross County goal to give the home side a 1-0 advantage. They had another chance in the 77th minute where Elijah just went 1-on-1 from a lovely pass through from Slattery again, and a really good Trevor Carson save. Ross County hadn't offered much. They were well organised, 70% possession for the home side, but they had two chances in the last 3 or 4 minutes. One, Kieran Phillips brought out a great save from Matty Connolly, the young goalie for Motherwell, and then in the 93rd minute Phillips again has played a lovely little first time pass into Ronan Hale. He's free in the box, he's 1-on-1, and the finish was really, really poor, really timid, and that was the last chance of the game. So as Motherwell progress and they beat Ross County at home, Motherwell 1, Ross County 0.
Yeah, Motherwell's fantastic season continues. They're into the 5th round of the Scottish Cup, as are Partick Thistle. They were up against Montrose, and Chris Doolan was watching for us.
Yeah, Andy, and it's finished Partick Thistle 3, Montrose 1, and it probably got a little too close for comfort for Thistle late on, after they lost Logan Chalmers being sent off. But in the first half it was all Thistle. Tony Watt headed home after 9 minutes. Fantastic work by Patrick Redding down the left hand side. He clipped a brilliant ball into the 6-yard box, and Tony Watt found himself free in there to nod it down and to make it 1-0. Montrose started the first half pretty well. They like they could be a threat. They had a chance at goal. It was saved well by Clark. It was cut back to the edge of the box to Brown, who stepped on and had a fantastic shot, which was well saved. And that was their first real chance at goal. And then after that, for the rest of the first half, Logan Chalmers was involved in most things that were all good from Partick Thistle. Everything coming down that right-hand side. He had a fantastic chance for cutting his left foot and bent it over the crossbar just to no more. Alex Samuel also had a cheeky back heel from 3 or 4 yards out, which was well saved by Gillen. Goals. The second half, it all kicked off to life in the second half, really, because 48 minutes, Tony Watt makes it 2-0, from a corner. Logan Chalmers involved again, taking the corner, and it lands in the 6-yard box, and Tony Watt just casually strokes it home to make it 2-0. After that, Logan Chalmers is then sent off. Like I said, he was involved in everything, but in 73 minutes he was sent off, and that sent the game into a bit of a spiral after that. 85 minutes, Montrose equalised, get 2-1, A ball was thrown into the box and Josh Clark comes for it, doesn't get it and spills it, and it actually lands at Tommy North, the young lad on loan from Hearts, and he knocks it into an empty net to make it 2-1. All of a sudden the game is thrown into turmoil, because Montrose then a minute later get a man sent off. Terry Masson comes on as a substitute and then gets 2 yellow cards and gets sent off for a tackle on Stanway. And after that, both teams down to 10 men, both teams pushing, Thistle trying to make sure they don't throw it away, hitting Montrose on the counter, and they done just that in the 91st minute. Rico Diak, a substitute for Thistle, breaks away. He's a powerful striker, he's a fantastic finisher. Kyle Turner slips him through in 25 yards, 30 yards for goal, runs all the way through and puts it in at the near post to make it Partick Thistle 3, Montrose 1.
Yeah, Partick Thistle into the 5th round. They had a good run in the League Cup earlier this season, going along very nicely in the Championship. How far can they go in the Scottish Cup? Airdrie have retaken the lead against Arbroath. Dean McMaster has scored their 3rd in the first half of extra time. But let's chat about some of the games today, guys. And we spoke briefly, but early doors, the first game of the day, Dunfermline, a huge result, Tom, but for Hibs it's a real disappointment, because in this of all seasons they might have fancied a real good cup run.
Yeah, I think all of those teams, the top 6-7 teams could fancy it, because apart from Hearts, there's not really a lot of consistency elsewhere. Motherwell, certainly Motherwell will fancy themselves. Hearts will fancy themselves. Celtic and Rangers will fancy. They're getting some consistency now for sure. But this seems to be a wide open cup for me.
Yeah.
And for Hibs to go out this early is a real sickener. It's a game they would have expected to have won. They lost it 2 minutes into added time, 92nd minute, to an own goal. But really, you've expected them to assert their superiority earlier on in that game, and they never did it. They never coped what was coming at them. And Dunfermline, I thought, were excellent. I thought Neil Lennon did a brilliant job coaching them, setting them up, asking questions, and it's a massive day for him, personally, professionally. Huge day for Neil Lennon.
A massive day for Neil Lennon and Dunfermline, a bad day for Hibs and their manager David Gray. Let's hear from him now.
David, commiserations, it wasn't your day today. What went wrong?
The obvious is we've lost a game of football that I can't stand here and say we fully deserve to win. I can talk about chances we created, chances we missed. I can talk about decisions. It doesn't matter. The reality situation is
it just a soft handover to off the ball?
I mean that with the greatest respect to Dunfermline. Congratulations to them. I think they deserve to go through. They've scored the goal. And we didn't do enough to win the game on the day.
You had chances, didn't you? Particularly Kieran Bowie in the first half, and a terrific opportunity for Thibault late on.
Yeah, I think, as I say, I could stand and talk about that and not miss chances. And there are big moments in the game. Kieran's is a massive moment. Thibault's is a big chance there, a chance just after half time as well. So I'm not going to, as I say, I can't stand and say we played well enough to ensure that we won the game. And that's really disappointing. And listen, we're out the cup. It's not good enough for the club.
What was in terms of the decisions, was it the potential penalty? Is that what troubled you?
There was a few things, but even I'm not going to. Again, we knew there was no VR before the game, so I can't stand here and say if we had VR, it doesn't matter. We didn't have it. That's part of it. So I'm not going to get drawn on decisions, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm making excuses. I think fair play to Dunfermline in the next round of the cup, and we're not.
The Hibs manager, David Gray there, Tony, sounding very disappointment, but he was not wanting to make excuses. He says we're out the cup and it's not good enough.
It's fair play to David, and it's what he's always like. I think he's very honest in his assessment there, and he's really, really disappointed. You can see with the way the interview comes across, he'll be really disappointed with that. But as you said, it just gives opportunities now. It's really, really hotting up in terms of that Scottish Cup. You look at some of the teams that are left, you know, you've still got Elgin in there, Stennismuir, and you'll see whoever wins. I think Airdrie look like they're going to progress through now. You'll see Kelty or Cover coming through, so it really is open getting into that next stage of the cup, and some of the Premier League teams going out. It'll be an interesting draw after that.
Well, let's check in again with Chick Young at Almondvale. What's the latest, Chick? Livingston 1, St Mirren 1.
Yeah, it's still that's the scoreline, Andy. We've had a few changes getting made now. St Mirren are just going to make a switch or two as well. I think Sidowu going off it is, and he's going to be replaced by Evan Mooney. So a switch up front for Saints. I tell you, Sidowu, what a chance he had before the end of that game. I think he thought the play had stopped. He was on the 6-yard line. Ball fell into almost in his lap. He couldn't control it. Should have put it away. That didn't work. So we're into well into the first half of time added on. There's a switch that again getting made for St Mirren. Scott Tanser coming on as well. He'll go to the far side, try and get things into the box. Have a good striker of a ball, Scott Tanser. But at the moment, still 1-1. And Livy have a free kick right on the centre circle, which they'll load the box. There's been a lot of aerial challenges, big players in this game, of course. Now it's going to keep stall fall for Stevie May inside the box. Someone deal with that. Gogic gets it away. Still 1-1, Andy.
We spoke at the top of the show, Tom, about Stephen Robinson being very strong in his comments about his players in the wake of the last few games, actually, but particularly after the midweek defeat to Hearts. He said, my players made me look stupid, which we thought was really strong, but Tony made the point. Stephen Robinson's built a relationship with these players, so he knows he's a better judge of them than anyone else, but they still need to pick up this win just to end this little rot they've had since the League Cup final.
Yeah. Look, I mean, they're on a terrible run. They're not scoring goals. They're conceding goals. Confidence is down. Maybe they're feeling a bit sorry for themselves because of all these VAR decisions that have gone against them, injuries. But they're playing so beneath themselves. Yeah. You saw the St Mirren team that won the League Cup. It's almost like you've replaced those guys and put in a new bunch of players. It's got to be galling for the manager because he knows they're way better than what they've been showing in the last four games. Not scoring.
Tom, just to interrupt you, that's half time and extra time, still 1-1.
Is there anything happening there?
Deciding the Chinese.
It's so St Mirren, it's Livy. We know what Livy are. They haven't won in forever, and they're battling. And this is what Livy are. They're just a team of battlers trying to survive. We know that St Mirren are better than this because they've shown it. But the longer it goes without them showing it, they're going to get sucked into a battle here at the bottom. I know it's a cup game today, but their real bread and butter is the cup, is the league, and everything is a problem for them right now. Everything is tough and everything is stressed.
Strikes me that David Martindale smells blood here. He's out at the moment. He's just gone to every one of his players as they come off to just get a wee refuel in the short break between the extra time periods. Having a word with every player, really urging them on, trying to get them. I think he smells blood that the Livies can get this. You know, my instinct earlier on was we're here for the duration with extra time and penalties, but I think Livy feel they can get some out of this. St Mirren you're right, they've just been a shadow of the team that saw earlier in the season. Their energy levels, they're not doing things quickly as they used to do it. You know, the times getting forward. I've told you about not getting the balls into the box early enough. The strikers have been off it. Big Michael Mandron has hardly got himself into the game. They really have to dig this out. So that's the second period of extra time about to start, 15 minutes away from penalty kicks.
It's almost as if they've had this incredible high of winning the League Cup and they can't bring themselves back down to earth yet.
Yeah.
It's almost they're still living in the past, celebrating that. And every game for them now is a footballing war. You know, this game, every game. And it's like maybe their head is still in the clouds.
Yeah, we still wait to see who out of St Mirren and Livingston will take their place in the 5th round. We do know, Tony, that Dundee United will be there. They had to bide their time. It was 77 minutes before they made their breakthrough, added a second late on, but it's very much a case of job done. Ayr United put up a decent fight, but Dundee United did what they needed to do.
And I think credit to Jim Goodwin, he made a really brave decision. The game wasn't going his way, and he put on 4 substitutions. He identified something in the game, and he strengthened his team, no doubt. He went to a front 2 of Stirton and Mola, and that paid dividends for him, and as a result of that brave decision, they're now through. A fantastic second goal, by the way, I've got to say.
Great finish, yeah.
They're now through to the next round, so credit to him.
Yeah, well, we can hear from Dundee United, Craig Sibbald.
Craig, fabulous result in the end, although you left it a bit later than you would have thought, or hoped for, I would have thought.
Yeah, a bit later than we hoped for, but got the job done and we're into the next round.
Looked like a tough game to play, and the conditions weren't great. The pitch looked quite heavy as well. How difficult was that?
Yeah, it was tough. The pitch isn't great now, and Ayr United defended well, so it was tough to try and get the goal, and I'm just thankful in the second half we took our chances.
I guess when you look at the game as a whole, it was a relatively even first half, but I think after the break, I don't think anyone can deny that you guys deserved the victory.
Yeah, I would say so as well. We started on the front foot second half and we were creating chances, so it was about just taking them in the end, and we're glad that we've done that.
Yeah, Dundee United 2-0 winners at Tannadice over Ayr United. Well, guys, let's chat about Kilmarnock and Dundee. And well, Kilmarnock got off to a great start with that fabulous goal, Tom, from Thompson. We might not see a better strike in the cup this season. A beautiful volley, and you're thinking, right, go on and kick on, but Dundee took control, and despite the calamitous nature of the winning goal, I think from what Rory Loy was telling us, it was a fully deserved win for Dundee.
Yeah, and it was a great volley from Thompson. I've watched it. I love shots that go in off the post. This was going off both posts.
Yes, just makes it that little bit more aesthetically pleasing.
It's like those shots that come down off the crossbar.
The Tony Yeboahs.
Yeah. Love those. So it's 1-1. It's finally balanced. You'd say.
Must score. What a miss.
He's got to score.
He's got to score. Lundulu, he's got his 6-yard line. He's full at his mercy. Takes it first time and doesn't score, Tony.
Any connection, it's a goal.
Yeah, absolutely. But that winning goal for Dundee. I've watched it 20 times here. I have it on the screen in front of me. I keep watching it.
Here it is.
It's just beyond belief. It's beyond belief. The big hoofed cross, high cross into the box, and Roos comes out. I can't describe it.
I know, and you know what? I feel sorry for Neil and Billy, because as you said earlier, there's nothing you can do with that. Jan Dander's played a cross in that he wouldn't be happy with, but.
No.
And you just think, Rory's commentary says he was just thinking, right, he's going to catch a ball and it's the next partner playing. Unfortunately, they make that mistake and they're out the cup, and that's a consequence of that, and that's what it's difficult. But I think on the whole, looking at it and looking at the match stats and looking at and listening to Rory's commentary, I think Dundee deserved to win the match anyway, particularly when Kilmarnock got down to 10 men. It looked like, again, a really brave decision by Stephen Presley that he went 2 up top. He brought his captain on, Simon Murray, and again it paid dividends. So both Dundee and Dundee United, I think both managers take a lot of credit.
But when that ball is in the air from Danda, Robbie Dees, who's under it, who's looks to have it under control. He has a little look to see where his goalie is. I don't know what the communication is, because we obviously can't hear. But then the goalie comes out and they both go for the ball, and it's just an absolute present, gift wrapped in a lovely little bow. Here's a goal, knock us out of the cup. I mean, unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be in that video analysis session on Monday, let me tell you. Right, one of the big results, which fair play to Tony Docherty, he called it right at the top of the afternoon. Stenhouse Muir, the League One leaders, turning over Championship Morton, and they did it in style by 4-0. It's a great day for Steny, not so much for Morton. Let's hear from their manager, Ian Murray.
Can you just sum up your thoughts on the match today?
Bitterly disappointing, that's for sure. To lose any game of football it's tough to take, but to lose in that manner is extra tough. We weren't outplayed by any stretch of imagination, but we're definitely 100% outfought in the game.
What about the couple of goals from sort of set pieces? Is that a worry for you?
Yeah, it is. 3 goals from set plays. We need to be braver, we need to be more aggressive, we need to want to go and compete and have body contact with the opposition, and on today's evidence we're not willing to do that, so we need to go away, work incredibly hard on the training pitch. As I said, if you're going to lose a game of football, there's ways to lose it. Today is not the way to lose a game of football. We got exactly what we deserved.
Well, that was the Morton manager, Ian Murray, and that was a bad day for him, wasn't it?
Yeah, he sounds very despondent there, you know, in particular. It's harder as a manager or coach when you lose goals for set plays, because that's something that you really can affect, you know, in terms of your organisation. So yeah, I'll be really disappointed about that. But listen, full credit to Gary Naismith. I said at the start, he's got a good thing going there. He's had a very successful season up to now, and to get to that latter stage of the cup competition just expresses how good a job Gary's doing.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic day for Steny. We were talking about Kilmarnock, Tom. We heard the boos really ringing out at Rugby Park, and I was there just around the turn of the year when they lost to Hibs. I think it was January the 3rd. And look, Neil McCann's just in the door. This isn't on him, but the Kilmarnock fans have had to endure a pretty tough season. They're not happy at the moment.
They're not happy because I think it's no wins now in 16, and at the moment they could. I mean, are they going out of the league? It's a toss-up between themselves and Livingston, I think. It's grim. It's really, really grim. And when they're giving away goals like that's taking them out of the cup. Goals like that could cost them a place in the league. They've brought in Kel Roos, and already one game calamitous error. And it's when they're in that rut, it must be really, really hard to get out of it. Like 16 games without a win. They've forgotten. A lot of these guys have forgotten how to win a match.
Yeah. Well, let's end on a positive. And Dundee, they did go there. They won. They played very well. Stephen Presley is starting to get a tune out of these players. We said earlier on, you know, his appointment wasn't universally greeted well, but he's getting something out of them now. Yeah, and again, I said it earlier on. He deserves credit for being brave in the game. You know, cup competition. You need to make those decisions, and to bring on, as I say, his captain Simon Murray to go 4-4-2 and to really force the issue. Then they deserve to get through. And just the game we're watching just now as well, Tom, you're talking about how this game can turn the fortunes of a club here. Whatever club goes through here, whether they win it and the match is not, or whether they win it in penalties, that can change the dynamic. You know, and talking about Kilmarnock the way you are there, this game, you know, is really important for both teams, Livingston and St Mirren. Well, you can follow the rest of the action from Livingston St Mirren across the website. We'll keep you updated. Tonight at Tynecastle, it's Hearts versus Falkirk, the final match today in the 4th round. 2 matches tomorrow, which you'll be able to follow on Sportsound as well. But it's time for our viewers on BBC One to leave us now. Thanks very much for your company. See you soon. And for listeners on Radio Scotland, we're going to stay with the Scottish Cup action for a few more minutes. Let's head back to Almondvale. Chick Young, Livingston versus St Mirren. We're into extra time, second half. What's happening?
Still 1-1. What a chance there just for Livy. It was Bakula nearly scored header, touched over the crossbar by Shamil George, of course, who used to play here at Livingston. Ball comes in, another chance for Livy to total miss hit. Livy's definitely have a sense of, I'm going to put my money in one team to grab it in the last few minutes, it would be Livy. They've got much more about them, made all sorts of changes. David Martindale's down there really urging his players on. That was a real chance, but maybe a little bit in the air. Dramatic save from Jamal George, putting over the crossbar for safety, but it's a real on edge. Both managers looking for the lift out of this, as you would say, to get them into the next round of the Scottish Cup and try and turn their fortunes. And of course, Andy, they meet again here at Almondvale on Tuesday night on league business in an outstanding fixture. So I mean, this is getting dramatic. It's now St Mirren in particular, like just shy of it. Just don't make a mistake at the back. That's the way they're playing. There's no sense of adventure from them in terms of getting forward. They've got the ball in the box now, but you just don't think they're creating as many threats as Livingston have done. But we're nosing ever closer to penalties. Yeah, how long we got left, Chick? What do you reckon? You weren't going to ask that. Well, we've not got a match clock in here either. We will say we are moments away, and that keeps it nice and loose. But
It's amazing what Chick's saying there, Tom, when you think of the St Mirren we saw in the League Cup semi-final. The League Cup final, full of energy, full of fight, full of desire and full of good play, and they just seem to be lacking in that confidence at the moment.
Just for the record, there's 6 minutes to go.
Okay, well done, Chick.
They are. They're those counter-attacking goals that they got against Celtic in the cup final, the aggression that they had, but also the way they were playing. They were ruthless. Self-belief coursing through their veins at Hampden that day. This is a different set of players I'm watching. Totally different. No belief here, and I don't know where their heads are at, because I know they're better than this because they've shown it. But they're a poor imitation of what we saw at Hampden.
Yeah, and you would hope with a cup final win, Tony, and that bit of silverware, that it would give everyone a lift and be a platform, a springboard to go forward for the rest of the season. It just seems to be going the opposite way at the moment.
Having won a cup, you would think that, but certainly watching the game at the moment, there's definitely more energy about the Livingston team. There's a dynamism about them. They're trying to get the ball forward quicker, but as I say, the game can change. There's good enough players on the pitch for St Mirren that can affect it for them as well, but it's such an important game for both sides, I think, in terms of them going forward.
There's something odd about teams that win cups in this country in recent years, and managers of those winning teams. Jimmy Tillane, gone. Brendan Rodgers, gone. Philippe Clement, gone. Gio van Bronckhorst, 2022 Scottish Cup final, went very quickly. It's it's a lovely day, but the glory doesn't tend to last.
Is that what you're saying?
It doesn't tend to last, the glory.
Callum Davison,
Callum Davison, 2 cups, gone very quickly.
Alex Smith got the bum in 1987 after St Mirren won the Scottish Cup. The next season, Danny Lennon went and won the League Cup. So St Mirren is a speciality act when it comes to that kind of thing. But I think that Stevie Robinson, he's got a lot of faith in him from the support. And the people at the club, I don't think is anywhere near.
No, he's not.
But here you go. This is the beauty of the game. There's 3 minutes left. Check, am I right here? And now they've got the best opportunity now with Liam Donnelly over at ball to go and win it, and then everything changes, and that's the beauty of this sport. If you're saying it's beauty or not, but this is a real opportunity for St Mirren to get through, and everything would change.
Yeah, loaded box. In fact, I might nip down there myself just to add a bit.
Add a bit of height. I wouldn't
bother.
Keep my bonnet on. There's it's come to nothing. It's the anti-climax again, of course. Free kick to Livingston to get forward. I think I said it a long time ago, earlier in the afternoon, when it was still light, that this has got penalties, extra time and penalties written all over it. And I really think that's where we're going. If anyone deserves to win it, for me, it's got to be Livy. But maybe penalty kicks is the deserved situation.
Yeah, well, we're fast heading towards the end of extra time. We will stay on just to get the end of extra time. We're going to take the penalties into Off the Ball. Stuart and Tam are back after the news just after 5:30, so make sure you stay tuned. Chico will describe all the action for you in his own style, as he likes to do. But tomorrow, guys, a couple of games. Aberdeen Raith Rovers. Tom, how you seeing that one? Aberdeen, we've been talking a lot about them this afternoon, but Raith Rovers, nothing to lose, going up to Pittodrie. They'll go up and give it a go.
Well, I won't tip Raith Rovers because my tipping, I'm retiring my tipping career is over. But the way Aberdeen are at the moment, Raith Rovers won't be afraid. I'm not saying that Raith Rovers are going to win, but you can't be afraid of Aberdeen these days. You can't be, because there's very little threat from them.
And the thing, Doug Emery's, he always puts out such competitive, combative teams.
I think that could be a very uncomfortable experience for Aberdeen.
Yeah, but if Aberdeen, I'm looking forward to hopefully Lyle Cameron will get his introduction to the Aberdeen team, and you know what I think, Lyle's a fantastic footballer, so maybe he can change the dynamic a little bit and need something like that.
I can't say that the Aberdeen supporters are falling over themselves with praising Lyle Cameron. I mean, it seems, I don't know, is it because they've signed him from Rangers?
Yeah, I think that's
what it is.
Short of it,
long and short of it. They've got to give this lad a break, They've got to give him a chance. He's a good footballer.
Cameron's a good player.
Lyle
Cameron's a good footballer.
The Livingston a corner kick yesterday, but he was taking it. Every single player, St Mirren player, was just about inside the 6-yard box. Nothing up front to get on the break to win the corner kick and get it away. So Livingston were able to pile players. I do think sense that the Saints are just hanging on for the penalty kicks here. There's no real sense of gamble and adventure for them to get forward. Although here
until now,
you know me, Tony. I tell you, they're going to make Oh, the shots just a wee
tame,
wasn't it?
Oh, it was
so passive. That's such a poor effort.
Yes, there's no energy. They seem to be lacking in energy. You know, you want to go and give them a shake.
Yeah.
Auchinleck Talbot against Celtic are one of those dream Scottish Cup ties for Auchinleck, Tony. But again, nothing to lose. Just go and enjoy that day.
Nothing to lose. Good place. It's a shame they're not playing at their own venue.
Yeah, don't get Chick started.
Fade out, Chick.
Someone mentioned that. It's too late now. Yeah.
But I think Celtic, one thing, Martin, he'll even watch them the other night. Falk got the better team. He's got them winning, and I think that's the most important thing. And I don't see anything else but that result tomorrow.
That's all it is, and it was the same in his first interim spell in charge. And you looked at the record. What was it? 7 wins and 8, I think, for his first spell, and that stat looks brilliant. But they weren't always convincing performances. But that winning habit.
Andy, penalty kicks it is. Full time has come. We're going to the spot kicks, and I would be hopeful, because I don't know if you know our competitive position here at Almondvale, but we are more or less the 18-yard line of one end of the pitch. So please bring it down here.
Jake, you've got history in this regard.
Prehistoric history.
Penalty shootouts. I remember a particular one, Jake.
Yeah, I've been making a fish supper of penalty shootouts for decades, don't worry about it.
Right, well, stay comfy, Chick. You will stick around for Off the Ball. Tom, very quickly, you expect Celtic to do the business tomorrow?
Aye, listen, if they don't, it's the shock of the forever.
Right, Stuart and Tam are coming up with a second helping of Off the Ball in just a few moments after the news, just after 5:30 on BBC Radio Scotland.
Across Scotland, with the latest news, every kick of the ball, music and culture.
On digital radio.
BBC Sounds.
And your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio Scotland.
BBC Radio Scotland News, I'm Duncan Kirkhope. Good evening. Donald Trump has announced plans to hit the UK, Denmark and other European countries with a 10% tariff on all or any goods exported to the US from the 1st of February. In a post on Truth Social, the US President says these will remain in place until such time as a deal is reached for the complete and total purchase of Greenland. Just hours before Donald Trump announced his new tariffs, protesters in Greenland and Denmark took to the streets to rally against his threats of annexation. 2 teenage boys have been arrested and charged after police received reports of people carrying machete-style weapons in central Edinburgh. A 17-year-old is due to appear in court on Monday. A 15-year-old will be reported to the youth justice system. Iran's supreme leader has for the first time publicly acknowledged that thousands of people were killed, some in an inhuman, savage manner, during recent protests. An internet blackout has made it extremely difficult to get clear information. A man has died in hospital more than 5 weeks after a crash in the Borders. 66-year-old Ian Weir was driving a blue Toyota RAV4 when he was involved in a collision near Fountain Hall on the 4th of December. That's BBC Radio Scotland News.
You're tuned to Off the Ball, the most petty and ill-informed sports programme on radio. The Scottish Cup and the reactions, window shopping, the strife of Ryan, and the Moon Howlers 11. I'm Stuart Cosgrove, and you're tuned to Off the Ball, Scottish Cup special. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the show. Welcome back again to our dear old friend Ryan Stevenson. Ryan, welcome to Off the Ball. The last time we had you on, you were howling at a certain former Celtic manager, Mr. Wilfred Nancy. So I'm going to be asking you later in the show, who have you got your evil eye on next? Who do you think is next for the chop from the managerial merry-go-round? And Adam Old Firm Facts Miller. Adam, lovely to have you back as well. I take it you're very, very happy that both your teams are still in the cup, yeah?
Celtic and Auchinleck Talbot.
Yeah. Well, in fact, we can actually now go right back to Chick Young because they're at penalties at Livingston.
Yeah, and the first one's going to be for Livingston, Stuart. Remember, with a 1 each after full time. Goals scored early in this game. It's gone to extra time. No goals there. And now a chance for Livy to put themselves ahead. Oh, it's been missed. It's right over the crossbar. That's a dreadful miss by Mohamed Adu. Right over the crossbar. I mean, wow. Bad miss for Livingston. So it's advantage St Mirren. One gone. Saints to take the penalty kick. I think that's Evan Mooney is going to be stepping forward as substitute in this game. It's taking up long casual stroll by the young man up to take this penalty kick. And the chance to put St Mirren level. Remember, 1 each after 90 minutes. In fact, it was 1 each after 11 minutes and no further scoring in the game. There were a lot of poor performances actually by St Mirren throughout this match. Here we come, chance for St Mirren to take the full advantage here. It's Evan Mooney. Long look at the ball. He's going to take this right-footed and drives it into the net. 1-0 St Mirren, advantage Saints, and they go ahead in the penalty shootout against Livingston. It's Livy now to come and take it up because skipper Ryan McGowan is going to step up for this. Very experienced player, of course. Just trots up to the penalty spot, going to place the ball. Looks as if he's going to be taking this one right-footed. Referee says off you go. Matt McDermott's the referee. Here comes Big Ryan. Gets the keeper, nearly got a touch in that. Goes into the corner. So that makes it 1 each, and St Mirren have a chance to take the advantage up here again to go ahead in the penalty. Well, they're ahead just to keep this advantage to them. Look at the ball. It's Marcus Fraser who's come up to take this one. Goalkeeper for Livingston, Jerome Pryor, has a look at this. Great finish by Marcus Fraser. That's St Mirren 2 out of 2, and it's 2-1 with the 5 penalty member to be done. Up we come again for Livy. It's like Sissoko is going to take this one for them to try and equalise the score, but it would still be advantage St Mirren with the next penalty to come. Remember that, 2-1 as we stand. Places the ball. The stand behind the goal is absolutely empty, so there are no supporters. St Mirren supporters on the far side as I look on from the main stand. Here he comes. It's going to be right-footed. Shamil George goes the wrong way, equalises 2-2, but St Mirren, of course, with an advantage here to take the next penalty kick. Up they come. Players already selected by Stevie Robbins to take the penalties. Liam Donnelly, I think, is the player stepping up to take this one. Goalkeeper has a look at it. Donnelly's going to take this right-footed. Very relaxed finish. Goalkeeper gets a save, but it goes into the net. Nearly a great save by Jerome Pryor there. He got a real touch in that. Serious hands on it, but it just squeezed beyond him and over the line. So St Mirren with a 100% record so far. 3 out of 3 they lead. 3-2 in penalty kicks. Here's a chance now for Livy to equalise, although the advantage, of course, would stay with Saints. Have a look at that. Casual walk up. Just a look, the referee just telling the player to get the ball on the spot, to make sure that's settled up. Big Robbie Muirhead, I think, with this one left footed, she really delivers a ball. It's a great striker of a football. You'd think this would be really rattled into the net. Little check out it, and he's missed it. It's a save. It's another save by St Mirren by Shamil George, and now the real advantage is with the Saints. 4-2. This one goes in, and it's all over. St Mirren now with a chance. Maybe they don't deserve it. They've been poor throughout this game. It's been very, very poor throughout this 90 minutes, about 120 minutes of football, of course. And now the chance to get themselves into the next round of the Scottish Cup. Remember, the League Cup holders already this season. They've been a poor since they won that game at Hampden against Celtic, and now a poor performance against Livy. This would be, I think, particularly lucky for St Mirren if they get this. It's Richard King with the penalty kick, right-footed. He's missed. Goalkeeper saved. There's a shocking penalty. He hardly struck that at all, right along the ground. And so there's another chance for Livingston to hang on in here. And it's of course the Scottish Cup hero from St Johnstone, a man who knew so many great moments, of course, for your team, Stuart. Stevie May, who will take this penalty kick. That was a dreadful penalty. This was a dreadful penalty. Up steps Stevie May. It's going to be right-footed. This kiss has got to keep Livy in it. Up he comes, right-footed. Oh, it's a great finish. It's a great finish. Now the pressure swings the other way. St Mirren still have got to score this one. Stevie May just a little nod to his teammates as he runs back. They've got their arms round one another as St Mirren try to get this goal that would maybe just urge them over the line and into the next round of the Scottish Cup. The referee just checks the ball's on the spot. Shamil George goes away outside the box to watch his teammates taking this penalty kick. We have the chance now to make St Mirren go into the next round of this Scottish Cup. Right-footed, goal! It's a goal, and it's St Mirren who progress in the penalty shootout into the next round of the Scottish Cup. They did it the long way. It was a long route round. It was a long 120 minutes. The penalty shootouts, but it's Saints who progress into the next round of the 2-minute. And commiserations to Livy. They made a real challenge in that game. It was a dramatic 120 minutes for a great start. Fed away, but it's Stuart, it's Saints who progress to the next round.
Thank you for that.